when they had like no other programming. It's most historical for being the origin of Bill Nye.
The science guy?
He wasn't the science guy on Almost Live. On Almost Live, his most well-known recurring character was Speedwalker, a superhero who fought crime by speedwalking. And it was... I mean, the show was okay. It was just like this little independent Seattle SNL kind of thing.
Kind of like SCTV.
Yeah.
Well, this SCTV wasn't really independent.
No. Well,
No,
I mean, they exploded, but yeah.
Yeah. They're the ones who... That's where Ed Grimley first came from, before
Ed
he showed
Grimley.
up on Saturday Night Live.
Bob and Doug McKenzie, of course. I was always a big Count Floyd guy.
I don't know many other characters from SCTV. Other than that's basically where John Candy got his start as well. And
Rick Moranis, of course.
Rick Moranis, yep. Speaking of Bob and Doug McKenzie, they're going to make a new movie soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that Strange Brew is... Or not Strange Brew, but Bob and Doug McKenzie are going to make another movie.
Sure.
Which, I don't know.
I'm excited to see Rick Moranis again.
Yeah, he's
is he coming back into acting?
Well, he better, because he's 50% of Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Well, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a real role.
He's done a little bit of stuff, because he's done a handful of voice acting work, because he did both of the Brother Bear movies, because he's one of the Meese comedy sidekicks in that.
Is that actually the plural? I've never
It
found
is
out.
not.
Okay.
I just say it because it's better. I think it's Moose's, but Meese is funnier, because Goose, Geese, Moose, Meese.
You also hate those Mises to pieces?
I hate those Mises to pieces.
Okay.
I hate Mises to pieces. I hate Mises to pieces.
I regret
We should do our whole podcast like this.
Let's just keep quoting that line and...
No, we should just do the whole podcast like this. It'd be awesome.
Excellent stage right. That was a bad Snagglepuss. I need to get...
Whoa!
I normally do...
Holy shit! You
That
should
was bad.
really do something about that Snagglepuss.
I used to be able to do a good Snagglepuss, but...
Whoa. Me.
Studio. Okay.
I didn't realize your voice acting career was so important to you.
So, I've been having fun with... I had fun like a year ago with Pokemon Go. It's still on my phone, and unfortunately it keeps on updating all the time and telling me, you should go out in the world and travel and check things
uninstall
out.
it.
You should really have to feed them. You'd really just point to open up that application, see a whole bunch of dead Pokemon lying there.
I feel, even... It's weird. So even like with makeup pets, I have concerns for them. Like I had Nintendogs.
Yeah.
Remember the game that you would play on your
I had
Nintendo
a Shiba
DS?
Inu and he sucked at Frisbee.
I got the I think it was the corgi one, but I had a corgi, and I sometimes feel like I was like I should load up that game because that dog has been in there for years.
Yeah.
And I have not paid attention to them. I know they get fleas and they get
Neopets on the internet. I had one of those things, and he's probably starved to death by now.
it probably doesn't exist anymore.
He might.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for some of those digital pieces of software to get pulled down.
My Kingdom of Loathing character is still there. I checked like a couple weeks ago because I was talking about Kingdom of Loathing to somebody.
I don't even know what Kingdom
of
is.
Loathing?
Nope.
It's got Wolfmen and you can kick them in the nards.
That's the highlight of the game?
No, but it's memes the game. It's an online but whatever. It's what do you call it? An RPG on the internet, inner tubes, and you fight things and they're all wacky fun.
Okay. Welcome to Crippled System, episode 208. My name is Andy, and I play Kador.
Non-Euclidean Nick said Pastafarian, but he is trying to reference Kingdom of Loathing, but he's wrong. Pastafarians are people that worship the flying spaghetti monster. Mm-hmm. The character class in the Kingdom of Loathing was the Pastamancer. And he battled things with noodles, and that was different than the Sorcerer. But if you had a Pastamancer and a Sorcerer, you could do really well together.
They combo great together. Yeah.
My guy was a turtle. Was it just? I don't think it was just Turtlemancer, but he had a turtle. It was like the Summoner class, and you had a turtle that would attack things.
I like turtles.
Game's free and it's fun. It's dumb. You can get half drunk and play Kingdom of Loathing, and it's a blast.
I'm going to take your word on that because I'm not going to touch that software.
What? What software?
Oh, the game, fine.
Why not?
Because I don't want to.
Okay, well, I can't stop that. You're Jeff.
Oh, yeah, I am Jeff. I play Troll Bloods.
I'm Nathan, and I don't play right now. What episode is it? Like
208.
208.
Yeah, you missed the last two.
I did.
Yeah.
I went to Germanfest, which was great. I ate a shitload of Landjaeger.
You missed. Oh, you missed the opportunity.
What?
You could have said I ate a shitload of schnitzel.
Oh man, I
That
did
joke's
eat a
the
shitload of
worst.
Schnitzel. A
It is
schnitzel.
the worst.
I didn't get a pig head. I felt terrible, but it was just Raylene and I, and she wasn't going to eat her share of a pig's head, and so I would have just eaten the cheeks and then had a head.
Just imagine having a pig's head on a stick, just walking around.
Yeah,
That would be disturbing.
only $10 while supplies last.
And that supply probably goes a long while. I can't imagine two people want pig head.
You want to bet?
Okay, fine.
Wait,
I don't, but...
Germanfest is, I mean, you go to Germanfest to be an insane German person, and that includes eating pig head and schnitzel and drinking fuck tons of beer.
I mean, the latter part of that makes a lot of sense to me.
And
Welcome
you drink
to
enough
Wisconsin.
beer, you'll eat a pig's head.
That's
I can't
Yeah.
disprove that.
Pig cheek is good, and pig ears are good.
I mean, they do sell them to dogs, so I mean, that must be good enough for us.
The ones they sell to dogs are like dried. If you roast them and like the cartilage starts to break down, they're really nice.
no, no.
You've never had a pig's ear.
Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Slice it up real thin and fry it crispy.
Admittedly, if it was there and it smelled at least remotely appetizing, I'd at least sample. But I can't guarantee I would enjoy it.
It's like bacon. It's fried pig that's crispy and oily and yes.
I like my pig discernible.
You mean non-discernible?
Yes, that's
Well,
it.
you don't just eat a whole ear. Like you slice it into strips and you pan fry it, and then you like eat it on a salad or something.
As long as I don't see what it was before it was sliced into strips, I'm probably okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah, non-discernible. That's the word, right? That's where I can't tell what it was beforehand.
Yeah.
That should be when you can't tell.
Yes. So I like my pig and bacon form.
Bacon.
So do we have any announcements? This is going to be a very short podcast.
Well, there's a Madison event on the 19th, right? Isn't Rick running one?
Yep, Rick is running a Madison event. I believe it's a Champions event, opposite of Gen Con's. Gen Con, wow.
Yeah, that's coming up too.
That's a crazy thing. Brian and I were just talking about this earlier, is Gen Con. When have you heard of the last time that Gen Con sold out?
Gen Con sold out?
Gen Con's it's on its last remaining legs of Friday tickets, and then it's sold out.
Crazy.
I've
Is there
never.
something driving that?
Well, it's the 50th Gen Con, so I mean,
Sure.
there's that. I mean, it's a loose 50 for Gen Con. I'm wondering if they're counting some of the ones that were when they had a couple years there where there was like a Gen Con California and there was like a Gen Con East Coast as well.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Well, I could see when Gen Con originated.
I
I
don't-
doubt it's 50 years ago. Yeah, there's a difference between 50-year anniversary and 50th Gen Con.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I'm thinking that it's the 50th Gen Con in that regards, but I don't think it's 50 years because that's 67.
Yeah, that's pushing pretty early.
Yeah, and I know D&D was
Wasn't
was
it the
about
driving force?
77 or so. I almost want to say it was right around the time.
Yeah, D&D isn't much older than the late 70s, early 80s.
What are you looking up? On?
Well, no, I was because I forgot that I had that Kickstarter on there. The Kickstarter that
sure.
started with "You shouldn't buy this game," and I scrolled to the bottom of campaign. It has a different character quote, and that one says, "This damned game is something that no one on Earth should own." Like they were trying to be clever and take quotes from the characters and change them to reference the game, but the characters are all saying, "For the love of God, stay away." That's probably should have thought that
I respect
through.
their advertising so much, I'm going to follow it.
Right? I would buy the crap out of this game for like, $40-$50, but $100, fuck you.
Yeah, $100 for 2 or for 4 more cardboard shits for your game. So I guess the game that we're talking about for the kickstarting is Who Goes Here,
Who goes there?
which is a trader mechanic / game. Is that basically built like the thing in a sense?
It starts full co-op, and then while you're doing stuff, you can get infected, and you can spread it. Because you trade with people for research, like, oh, I need to go repair the boiler, so I need a hammer. Can you give me a hammer? And then we trade cards, and you give me a hammer, and I give you you are now one of the thing cards.
Okay.
You join me in the being a thing. So you want to trade with each other, but you want to make sure you trust the person you're trading with, because, they will infect you.
Well, because then there, I wondered if there's some type of mechanic where, like, I hand you the card there, you grab it, and you're like,
sure.
I mean, that's got to be a kind of annoying thing where somebody could tell. It's like
it's not an annoying thing because it's BSG style, right? So, like, if the three of us are playing,
okay,
let's say, and that happens, I hand you a card and you go, oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, shoot, I just gave away that Nathan's a thing because I traded with him. No, you didn't. You gave away that you're claiming that I was a thing. If you were a thing and I wasn't and I traded with you, you could do that exact same mannerism to try to make Jeff think that I gave you a thing card. And make him not trust me.
Sure.
So you just have to do BSG style, right? We're like,
Yeah.
you can say whatever the hell you want, but you could be lying.
You got to add extra text onto the card so everyone starts reading it at the same time. Yeah, somebody had mentioned on the chat there that they think that the Gen Con thing is a scam.
They're pretending they're selling out.
Indiana Convention Center hosts so much more, and it makes sense because like their 50th Gen Con, suddenly it sells out for the first time ever.
And then like a week beforehand, it's like, oh, we got another wave of tickets. Who would have figured?
That could be it too. I mean, they are definitely expanding it though too, because they have a lot of events happening at the Lucas Oil Field there as well, on top of the convention center. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. Just not even just attendees. I mean, so many different games going on there. So, have you found out which Gen Con it is?
No, but I found out that each of the 8 characters has their own unique skills and abilities, and so they're not just like skin
swaps.
They're not just palette swaps. Like, they legit play different. So to have the full game, you do need to spend the $99.
That's annoying. That's really.
Well, but that's not outside the range of a quality board game. Since I don't know what we're really talking about here, though, like if it's got a lot of components and like real 3D items, not just cardboard cutouts, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
They're all cardboard cutouts. From what I've seen in the game there.
Yeah, they're cardboard standees, plastic-based cardboard standee.
And so, like, a game that's similar, probably at least components-wise, the game I would compare it to is, like, Dead of Winter.
But they each have their own... So, each of the new guys is a player board, a deck of action cards, it's like a dozen cards or so, and, like, a half dozen tokens and a die. And so, if you look at the pricing, like...
Yeah, like how much you're paying per guy when you buy that
$10, I think?
That's not unreasonable.
You're going from $60 to $100 for the game when you get those 4 additional guys. I think it's 60 to 100. Let me see if it's 50 to 100. I'm checking.
For those 4
you're going
guys,
from 60 to 100. So you're paying $10 per extra guy.
Not too bad. It's still a lot to invest.
It seems like something that, I mean, those extra guys seem like that they're going to be offered as a companion or as an expansion for the game, so it might be worth just buying the base game and pick up the base game, see if you like the game,
right,
and then pick up the additions.
I would say when they come out, they're probably going to be like 25 instead of 20 per pair of guys, so you're just paying a $5 penalty for not buying them at Kickstarter. But yeah,
I'd be willing to go suck that up to test the game.
Character pawns are a stretch goal according to non-Euclidean Nick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably a good game. I just don't want to spend $100 on that at the same time that there's another The Thing game coming out at Gen Con, and I just bought the most expensive game I've ever bought, and it's coming on Tuesday in the mail, and I hope Raylene's not listening to the podcast.
What'd you buy?
Mega Civilization.
Oh, that sounds like a game I would not enjoy.
Well, the thing is, so there was Civilization came out, and then there was Advanced Civilization that expanded it, and a young Sid Meier played these games and fell in love with them and made the PC game Civilization. So don't confuse these games with the games based on the PC game Civilization.
So this PC game is based off of these games.
Right, and then there have been board games based on the PC game, and the board games based on the PC game, which is also confusingly just named Civilization, is fucking terrible.
Sure.
So people are like, oh, I remember the Civilization game I played, it was bad. No, this is an old game, but Mega Civilization takes that, it polishes it some, because Advanced Civ came out like probably 30 years ago by now. I think it came out mid-'80s, maybe 90. But Advanced Civ is a pretty old game now. And so Mega Civ takes it, polishes it, makes it bigger, makes it playable up to 18 people, whereas I think Civ capped out at 9. And they streamlined it so you can play it much more quickly. A full game is doable in less than 12 hours. So
I think I'm going to wait for the Ultra.
I'm okay with long games. I don't have a problem with scheduling an afternoon and playing a long board game, as long as it's not one of those ones that has a faulty mechanic that spoils it, a third of the way in, you're done.
No, they're super tight. They're trading games at heart. Like you build cities, and cities let you draw commodities, and you use commodities to get money, and you use the money to buy tech advances, and you use tech advances to wash, rinse, repeat, and you gain victory points in the first to X victory points. Actually, instead of X victory points, what they have is you have, like, they call it the AST, which is the, it's the something track. I'm blanking on what it is, but your pawns go up this track, and each race has their own requirements to advance a space, and so some need to be more tech savvy, some need to just be more spread out, and so on. And then the first to finish their track is who wins the game, which is kind of neat. But it's good, and the it's at heart a trading game, and it has really good slingshot mechanic, because in the trading deck, instead of just commodities, there's also calamities. So you might get hit by a volcano, barbarians might come and murder your thing, you might have a civil war. But the calamities are really well done, where a lot of them have secondary victims, where it's like whoever has the card and the person winning both get fucked. And a lot of them also have beneficiaries. Like Civil War is one where a whole bunch, you take your territory and like a third of your territory is like, fuck you, we're out. And you lose all that stuff. And who does it go to? The guy in last place. So they do a good job having some slingshot mechanics, because if you're going to play a 12-hour game, you don't want to be out of it after hour 1.
Right.
Yeah. You just hang around in the corner just getting drunk.
Yes.
And just throwing empty chits at the board.
Although, we've all been in the 0-3 bracket of a War Machine tournament before, right? So that's a 12-hour investment, and you're out of it after the first 90 minutes because you lost your first game.
Well,
But you're participating. You're doing something.
And you can participate, like you participate in the board game, you just know that you can't get first, right?
Well, there are games where you can literally get eliminated.
Oh,
after a
sure.
little
No,
while.
yeah, yes. Games that have full player elimination, that's a different thing. But games that don't, but you just know you've lost after the first hour of like a 6-hour game, I don't personally understand why that's different than losing your first round in a tournament, but we've had this conversation before, and the argument is that you can see each round of the tournament as its own thing, so you can still have individual wins. But you can still have that in a board game, I think. Like, you can make little mini goals in the middle, but...
You could stab somebody in the back and watch them lose.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, and so it depends on how much of a kingmaker you can be in those circumstances, You make a bad enemy early, and that person can vindictively go after the person in the lead and maybe cause them to lose, versus, like, now that one person's out of the game, he gets to choose somebody to bone and they will never win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I generally don't play those games as much, so I don't do a lot of king making. For those type of games, I find something that I enjoy doing in them, and I will do that. And if I can complete it or do something silly, that's the game for me. That makes the game for me. It's kind of like when we were playing Cthulhu Wars. Like, I just wanted to do this and this and this.
Sure.
I got to do that. I won. I'm in last place. Woo!
Yeah, but as long as you're having fun and not totally boning people. Brian was a little angry because everybody handed me the game that we played.
Yeah.
My race was the if you don't attack me, I win, and I can go take a nap, and Brian's the only one who attacked me, and nobody else was, and he's like, fine, fuck it, I'm not doing it on my own.
I think I tried to help a little bit, but yeah, my race was trying to build portals. And the issue was that board that we're on would instantly close portals.
Yeah, we were playing in the Ice Age, and portals immediately froze.
Yeah.
That was bad for you.
Yeah. Somebody was asking about if we enjoy Star Realms, or if any of us own Star Realms. That's a card building or a deck building?
Yeah. I had it on my phone. It was on my Facebook memories that I played the shit out of it 2 years ago.
You don't remember playing it 2 years ago?
I remember playing. Okay. I played it a whole bunch. I felt like this. So I got fewer and fewer. Like, it was a big craze for a while amongst all our Facebook friends. Like, Ben Lang was playing, and Brian was playing, a bunch of the Muse guys were playing it, and then everybody one by one kind of stopped playing it, and so I was playing the single-player campaign, and I'm 99% sure that it cheats, and I don't have time for that shit.
Sure.
I don't have time for artificial difficulty through cheating games.
Yeah. No, I've been in that boat too, where you just suddenly like, how the fuck are you playing that card?
Yeah.
You just played that card. What the fuck?
Gee, you sure got lucky draws.
Yeah.
Oh, what are the odds that you drew all the lucky cards?
Yeah.
Maybe the algorithm behind the scenes. Who knows?
Oh, your star player just blocked and killed my one guy on a 3-die block. My choice. What?
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
And it can happen on its own, but part of me just can't trust. Because the thing is, the only other way they can have difficulty in game, well, especially like you brought up Blood Bowl. Like, Blood Bowl is equal, right?
Yeah.
So there's only 3 ways it can have difficulty. One would be having AI that's better than you, which is really hard to do. Like, number one, I mean, it's just hard to do AI, right?
And with that many, I'm sure that the AI could be programmed, but with that many variations of players, teams, strategies, it's...
Well, did you ever play like the computer version of the first Blood Bowl, where like the AI was they always caged when they got the ball.
Oh, yeah,
it doesn't matter what team they were, they would always cage.
Even in the current ones, you'll see it's turn 16, and they'll do like a little maneuver and cage up. It's like, at least try. Like, long bomb, go for it. Like, you lose if you don't, but the game's not designed to see that. You know what I mean? So, but better AI is one way. Public cheating, I guess you shouldn't call it cheating, but unfair balance is the other. Like, you can have a difficulty setting where you just have 1,000 points lower than the opponent does.
Correct.
So they're just blatantly
yeah.
a better team. So
Like,
it's more
you're playing
difficult.
a more experienced team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which would all, and then number 3 is to literally just cheat.
Yeah, where suddenly their dice rolls have a bell curve to them, or where they're consistently making better rolls when they don't need to.
Yeah, and sometimes I just get suspicious of number 3.
Well, that last one is really only a problem in games that are heavily statistics based. So, like Blood Bowl, it's a game of odds. It's which risks are acceptable, which ones are not, and there's obviously a gameplay element to it. But the more a game is built into those calculated risks, the worse that last issue becomes.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be statistics-based ones. Like, when people think I'm paranoid about these things, I can point to known games that everybody sees does this, and one of them is Mario 64. One of the stars, you race a penguin down the mountain. And if you are far enough ahead of the penguin, he just goes Mach 57. He will always pass you at a certain point. If you are beating him, the game blatantly just speeds him up to make sure he gets ahead of you at that point.
They call it rubber banding.
Exactly.
That's basically
they rubber band him ahead
Mario
of you. Yeah. And Mario Kart, they can also just give him blue shells and shit like that. But
yes,
the penguin provably in the code rubber bands ahead of you because the game cheats.
They want that challenge in there
Sure.
for you to race that stupid penguin down the hill.
Sure.
I haven't
But
played
if
that
I'm
game
beating
in
the
a long
penguin,
time.
I deserve to beat it.
Yeah, because that mechanic is more irritating. Like if you're not that much better than the penguin naturally, so then you're barely eking out a win, and then the penguin passes you anyways.
Yep.
That's frustrating.
Well, and what's the point of the first 75% of the race if he's always going to rubber band past you for the right before the last 25? Start the race there with the penguin slightly in front of me and save me the effort of thinking that I was actually playing the game.
I mean, yeah, it's about the illusion of enjoyment the first half, but yeah,
Sure.
it's a valid point.
It's a race.
It's a race. I'm winning. WITC.
That's coming up.
Yeah, on the 26th, but registration's closed. Sorry.
You could probably massage Travis into another entry.
We have 15 and 2/3 teams. I think is it 15 or is it? I know we have an odd number. I'd have to double check how many we have right now, but I know we have an odd number, and then we have Keith and Josh Maxon. Oh, I thought that was muted. Show me what you got. All right,
So you have Keith and who?
Josh makes beer, Muse guy.
Oh,
Josh.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then they were trying to get Nick to be a third, so they would have a team, but Nick wasn't responding in the thread. But if somebody wanted to be Josh and Keith's teammate, Muse would have a team.
I mean, I could technically. I mean, you don't really need me that much.
I told you that several times.
I know, but but I like being.
And I like
So-
having you, buddy, but if it means you don't get to play, I'd rather you play.
Nobody wants me to play anyway. I did win my first game playing Kador in like 8 years.
Wait, you won your first game in 8 years? Or your first Kador game in 8 years?
My first Kador game in like 8 years. Probably less than that. Probably like 7 or so. Because I played him like right at the very end of Mark 1, and I played maybe 2 or 3 games into Mark 2, and that was it. Enough to get our Kador Epic Nate to stop playing.
Yeah, it's the 26th.
Yep, WITC 26th over in Milwaukee. Yep. We're Elks Lodge, I believe. We're going to probably have some games being recorded there. If you guys want them to be recorded, contact me. I'll
That'd be nice, yeah.
record some games, maybe record some commentary later on that night. 2 days, right?
No, it's going to be a one-day event. We're getting it over in 1 day.
Ooh.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. So no need for hotels or anything like that. Just go.
Hotels if you want to stick around. And hang
Sure,
out.
if you want to hang out on Sunday, you can. But the tournament itself is going to be 1 day.
Yep. Well, that's going to be it. Well, so it's probably good that I'm helping out because that's going to be a tight schedule running 4 rounds.
Yes. Yep. It's going to be 4 rounds, 1 day, tight schedule, but whatever. We'll get it done. I believe in the power of friendship.
Yeah.
Friendship.
I don't think that's what makes those work so tightly. There's more coordination and planning and what have you. But friendship might help. Makes a better experience.
It's easier to coordinate and plan that way.
Mm-hmm.
Friendship and whips are the 2 things that help with that.
To be fair, I think a lot more of these things get done on time if they're motivated with whips.
Yes.
Dice down!
What?
Traveling down a road we don't need to.
Louis C.K. has a good bit about how it's amazing what civilization can accomplish if you just throw endless human misery at it. Hey, we want some pyramids built. Death. Yay, pyramids!
It's tragic.
But it's true. You just throw corpses into something, it'll get done.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
literally,
not just throw corpses. I mean, throw them until they become corpses.
Either works.
Either works.
Enough corpses gets you a pretty big pyramid.
True.
Well, but for a pyramid, you have to have the flat edges, right? Otherwise, it's just a mound of corpses.
Or a ziggurat.
Yeah.
Which is a good word, ziggurat.
I think it'd still take a lot of folding and bending of said corpses to get a corpse ziggurat.
I'll make it happen.
Well, I mean, that's what the other
You have to
people are
stack
for.
them nicely like Lincoln logs, with the legs overlapping and...
Get
Abraham
lattice
Lincoln
work.
logs?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they're called Lincoln logs.
Yeah, I know. See the log cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to talk like this for now.
I was
Very
talking
simple.
about Lincoln
Yeah.
logs. Although it's a pun because the logs link also, so they're linking and Lincoln.
Have you ever seen the meme of Lincoln Park with Abraham Lincoln
No.
watching Lincoln Park?
No.
Park of Lincoln?
I saw a house dressed as a house drawing a house on a house. No?
I mean, I get it. I just don't find that funny as a statement.
But it's a thing I saw. But it starts
And
with
I'm
the
proud of you
house.
for that.
It starts with a hand drawing the house, and it zooms out, and then you see that it's house dressed as a house drawing the house on the house, and that's the punchline. True story. Dank memes. Dankest.
Too dank to enjoy.
Too spooky for me.
Sorry.
You've sold us on a really big, funny meme.
We're waiting on it,
Yeah.
Andy. Get that meme. Is it as good as the Imagine Dragons?
What?
It's like the Game of Thrones people, but it's Imagine Dragons instead of Imagine Dragons, and it's got like Danny and stuff like that. And
Ugh.
I also saw it was Slipknot, but it wasn't Slipknot. They had like a face on one of the guys, and I forgot what it was. True story.
Fantastic.
If I can remember what was photoshopped onto it, it probably would have been better. It wasn't very memorable. We're waiting on you, Andy.
It's not going to be as good as...
Whoa!
Putting on the softcore porn music?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
It's
Lincoln Park with Lincoln. Oh, I see.
it's Lincoln Park with Lincoln Park. Watching Lincoln
Park.
Hey, Lincoln.
Oh no! I accidentally made it go away.
Darn. I'm going to miss that meme.
Yeah, it's Lincoln Park with Lincoln Park watching Lincoln Park on Lincoln.
There's a classic one, if you know German, that's really funny.
No, I don't.
Well, there is. You can't just say no.
No, I'm just saying I don't know German. So
It's about a lady named Barbara who makes rhubarb bars in a bar, and she sells them to barbarians. And because of the way German works, when you have descriptors, you just make one big word.
Sure.
So this word is just barba bar bar barba 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 bar, just like the word. It's basically just bar 100 times in a row. And
Nice.
That's how German works.
They do kind of make mashed up long not sentences, really, words.
Yeah. So they're like, why would you bother with the adjectives when you can just have a word that has...
Well, because then you end up with like a 36 character word, and that's
fine.
I don't think it's fine.
What's the opposite? So you can either just invent the word nurse or make the word healing woman. And when you have healing woman as one word, you don't need a healing woman as a descriptor of a noun or nurse as a new noun. You just say, look, it's a healing woman.
I'll disagree. That word nurse keeps dictionaries in business.
True. Well, so does healing woman, because you still make it a new word. It's just not. It's just shoved together.
I can't imagine what a German dictionary looks like under those circumstances.
are you
It's
talking
amazing.
about nurse as a noun or a verb?
As a noun.
Okay, good.
As
All
a
right.
verb, you also just shove two different verbs together. Yes. Yeah. You probably just take like medical repair effort and then shove that together. And yes, it's a beautiful language.
WITC. So the other thing we're also doing for the WITC, Nathan and I actually have to talk about it. We should talk about it soon.
Mayhem Cup.
About adding the Mayhem Cup to this event. I don't know if we're just going to take everybody who plays in the WITC for it, or if we're just going to take volunteers who want to play for the Mayhem Cup.
Well, I thought we were just gonna have the winning team get their name on the cup.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Oh, good. Solved. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Done.
Winning team gets the names on the Mayhem Cup. It's like the Stanley Cup
Yeah.
with the names on it.
We're going to get some new nameplates for the cup then, too, so it looks better. Somewhere behind me, so...
Oh, is that what you're looking for? Yes, it's directly behind you.
Yeah.
I can see it. The excitement is high today on the podcast.
So you saw a movie.
I saw a fuck ton of movies since the
What?
last time I was on here.
You didn't invite me into any of these either.
I invited you to the one I saw yesterday. I
You
actually
did?
posted it. I posted it. You replied to it.
I did?
I posted it in the podcast. What's the word?
Oh, that was like a week ago.
Because the movie was yesterday, and so I bought tickets a week ago. But yes, yes. Admin, that's the word. The podcast admin page. I posted a screen capture of my phone after I bought my tickets.
So you could sit with... Was
So
there
you
empty
would-
seats next to you, too?
There were a few empty seats in the theater.
What? It did win the box office for the weekend.
It was a 7 p.m. ultra screen showing on opening night of the film, and there were, I think, 10 people in the theater. Oof, indeed.
Oof,
Which movie was this?
Dark Tower. It wasn't that bad, actually. It was
Yeah.
okay. It was fine. It felt... The descriptor that was in most of the bad reviews said that it felt generic, and it did. It just felt like, when those young adult movies come out, like The Hunger Games and The Maze Trials and the one with the people that have adjectives and they're grouped into their adjective. The one that fucking Jeremy likes. The Divergent. The Divergent ones.
Oh,
You remember that one?
not in detail.
It's like post-apocalyptic, and
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
kids, when they turned 18, are basically sorted into Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw and Gryffindor. But they're basically just, these guys are strong, these ones are smart, those ones are friendly. And then, if you're good at more than one thing, you're just killed because they don't want you. And so those people rebel because, being killed sucks, and that's whatever. But the point is, all these young adult movies, it felt like one of those. It was 90 minutes. 90 minutes!
well, I don't make those
Yeah,
nowadays.
You
I
don't, and it sure as fuck needed to be 2 hours. It was way too short. All of my objections are I could use more everything, please.
thing just got left on the editing room floor, or did it like...
Maybe, yeah. Raylene said she thought that the studio made them make it shorter because they wanted to make a TV series and stuff like that. So maybe they thought they were saving material. I don't know.
How does a longer movie preclude you from having a miniseries?
And man, I could have used more motivation. I could have used more background. I could have used more character bonding because the two main good guys don't like each other, and then they're besties, and you need more for that journey to work. And the movie was just too fast. It wasn't bad, but it was just too fast.
Some of the complaints I've seen though too were the Matthew McConaughey is not that great as the Man in Black.
He's okay, but man alive, his best scenes were just the scenes that they stole wholeheartedly from Jessica Jones, because one of his shticks as a wizard is to just straight up killgrave people.
Oh, okay.
Like, two of his cronies fail, and so he talks to them, and they're like, yeah, we're sorry. He's like, no, it's fine. Go ahead and kill each other. And then he walks away, and they just start murdering each other.
Sure.
Because he whatever. And, like, those scenes were cool, but it's like, yeah, I saw that on Jessica Jones. And it was cool on Jessica Jones. But, yeah. But he was okay. I mean, I'm sure other people might have been better, but he wasn't disastrous. Like, the whole time I wasn't like, wow, you suck, McConaughey.
It was not. So you would agree with the casting was pretty good throughout the whole thing?
It was all right. I think it had the Lucas effect where the casting suffered in that these people could have been better, but the script let them down.
Sure.
Like Idris Elba, I mean, he's Idris fucking Elba, and he was mediocre.
Oh, that sucks. I know that like the action sequences that I saw, at least in the trailers and that, looked really cool with like him reloading, like on the fly. They have that cool pan shot of his hand going in front with the gun over the bullets.
He shoots his own bullets in midair to make them go different directions.
Okay.
How does that work?
Because he's a gunslinger, goddammit. But he's a gunslinger.
Does his gun have a speed setting?
He's fucking magical.
Oh, okay.
His guns, actually they say his guns are forged from the metal that was Excalibur. So...
What blacksmith would have pulled that, or gunsmith, I should say, like, is this Excalibur? We'll make it a gun.
Yeah. The thing is, it's important to realize that gunsmiths are wizards. Like, they're just wizards that use guns instead of wands. Like, But, what, like, the actions are okay. Like, the issue was, it was very, it's okay. And when a critic sees something, it's like, that's okay. It's because how the algorithm works, right? So a critic can't go to Rotten Tomatoes. And we've talked about this before with our pain trains.
It's basically either going to be yes or no.
The critic can't say this was okay.
Yeah.
They have to say thumbs up or thumbs down. They're not allowed to go anywhere. And if they do, it was 59% good, or it was 49, right? Like if they say it was middle of the ground, it counts as a bad. And then if every single critic gives it a 59, it doesn't get a 59 on Rotten Tomatoes. It gets a 0.
Correct. Yeah.
Because that's how Rotten Tomatoes works, right? And so it's this weird cascade effect. The audience score was like 63 or something.
Well, that's doable. I mean, that's
Raylene was actually excited about the critic score briefly because it was at 19%, and the number 19 is extremely important in the Dark Tower books. So she was like, it actually works.
It was at 19% for a long time.
I think it's at 18 now.
Yeah, right now it's at 18. So that would actually be, I guess that's a plot point for 19.
The number 19 comes up a lot in it, yeah.
So it may take that as a blessing. Maybe the critics are doing this for a reason.
It's so much so that a lot of theaters were having their first showing of it at 1919 in military time.
Sure.
So yeah, they're having the 719 showing because that way it was 1919. But yeah, it was fine. It was perfectly okay.
Yeah, the fact that the critic, I mean, it's above that threshold for the audience score. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about maybe seeing it on Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah. For $5, it's worth seeing. It is all right. Like I said, it does some of the stuff, like another half hour of just explanations and stuff like that. Like a character goes somewhere and they're attacked by a monster and the monster goes away, and then other characters are like, oh yeah, of course, it's one of those things. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know those things. You have to explain it to me. I'd like to know about that thing. And that's why I said like the young adult movies do the same thing. Like when I saw the first Hunger Games movie, and they're doing their thing, and they're like, oh, look, it's tracker jackers, and they get attacked by these wasps, and the wasps go away, and I'm like, well, what the fuck are those? Why are they called tracker jackers? Why aren't they just called wasps? Is there more there? Tell me more. I need to know about your universe. Take the minute to educate me. But no, they got to get through.
Well, explanations are going to bore the American audiences. Comprehension is overrated when you can put flashy things and explosions on the screen.
Well, I think what it is people who've read the books have 6 books worth of knowledge of what the fuck a tracker jacker is. And so they get thrown in there, so the people who've read the books go, oh, look, they're tracker jackers. But I haven't read the books, damn it. Explain it to me. But because so much of the audience knows it already, they feel if they explain it, and this is Arctic Circle's going in here. It says the Hunger Games books actually explain it. And actually the later movies do. They're called tracker jackers because they actually kind of like mind control you. Like if you take their venom,
Sure.
they actually use it to like hypnotize people later in the books. But in the first book, they just have that, or the first movie, they just call them that. But the point is, they don't explain it because they figure if you've read the book, you'll be bored by the explanation. And they throw it in there because the people who've read the book expect them, but it's like you can't do both. Like, at least do a quick little explanation for the virgins in the audience that isn't so long as to bore the people who don't.
Let them into the movie universe.
Well, but did you need to? I guess maybe it's mainly all the script then, because you didn't need to know what Gas Farm was. You didn't need to know what Bullet Farm was, and why they're only polecats from Bullet Farm. You didn't need to know stuff like that.
But the things you did need to know were explained.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
Well, and it's
Well,
like
not even-
you
learned by them
to
experiencing it or doing it.
Yeah, they never just mentioned a thing that was inexplicable and expected you to just understand it. It was explained. Every movie with the Hulk still explains that Bruce Banner gets angry and turns into the Hulk.
Yeah,
We all know it, but somebody might have not watched the Avengers or Hulk and just went to Age of Ultron as their first Marvel movie, so they need to know it. So they still throw in that scene. They still throw in, that's Tony Stark, he's a rich guy, he made the Iron Man suit, and he fights crime. They still throw in Captain America with the super soldier. Like, they still mention this shit so that you get caught up to speed. You have to have those little... And it's funny is that the people who know it, like, you can write, oh, yeah, get it out of the way. But it's better to have the people who know it just kind of understand that it's a necessity than to not have and confuse new people. Well, and especially with the Marvel, because it was Stan Lee that said every issue is somebody's first issue, right? So you need every single issue to explain Spidey sense.
I mean, there's people around now that were born when the first Hulk came out that are experiencing Marvel movies now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been that long. It's been over 10 years.
I mean, those Hulks you may as well not have experienced and just get fresh Hulk in the Avengers movies.
What? No. Incredible Hulk is amazing. Incredible Hulk. Not Angry Hulk.
Angry Hulk has some stuff to sell for it, too.
It's got some really good action sequences. Hulk versus Tanks is amazing.
Hulk vs. Tanks is amazing, and it focuses a lot more. It's artsy fartsy, emotional, like the conflict and the struggle within, and that's a fine thing to focus on. But as far as like a popcorn flick, it has mutant poodles.
Yeah, that was kind of the last little nail in that coffin.
Yeah.
Well, that and turning having Nick Nolte be your dad, turning into the Absorbing Man / Zax.
Yeah,
and like all the other.
I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm saying it has good elements within it.
Correct. There's the fight scene in San Francisco where he destroys like an entire city block.
You're thinking Lost World with the T-Rex.
No.
And the clueless, entire city where no one pays attention to the T-Rex news. There's no police barricades or nothing.
Yeah.
I like how the T-Rex can also hide on a ship, too.
And open doors. No, it closed it behind itself, right? Like, it somehow...
somehow did that. And it was able to kill every... no, because there was raptors.
No, there weren't raptors. There's just the T-Rex on the boat.
Is it just in the book that there's raptors in the Lost World? Fuck if I know. But anyway.
You know my experience with the Lost World book, don't you?
No.
Oh, I'll tell this anecdote. But yeah, no, so it kills everybody on the boat, and then it locks itself back in the cargo hold.
Correct.
Somehow. And still docks the boat. Because the boat docks.
No, it doesn't dock.
Do they tow it in?
It just runs aground.
Okay, fine.
Because it's basically going straight, and it just runs straight into...
The best part of the T-Rex rampaging in the city, well, number one is them actually killing the dog. You don't rarely see dogs die in movies.
I was just thinking about that, too, when we mentioned...
When he's chasing a bunch of civilians, and there's a group of Japanese businessmen, one of them shouts in Japanese, and what he shouts is, I moved away from Tokyo to get away from things like this.
Nice.
It's like, all right, that's funny. But no, Lost World, so in the book version of Jurassic Park, have you ever read the book Jurassic Park?
Just the first book.
Right.
I
So
think
the
I know
first
what
one,
you're talking about.
Ian Malcolm dies from an infection when his leg gets broken by the T-Rex.
Right.
He dies. They leave his corpse on an island that is carpet bombed. So the result of his corpse being carpet bombed on a dinosaur-infested island is that he has a mild limp in the sequel. I got the sequel, I read the first page, and then I threw it across the room, and we moved out of that house with that book still in the corner of the room. I refused to touch it. Like, I was so angry. So I don't know what happens after he has a mild limp as a side effect of his corpse being carpet bombed.
Maybe you're just misunderstanding.
the
Maybe he
radiator-
didn't actually die in the first one.
That's what it says, like, the rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated, as Mark Twain once said. I'm like, fuck you,
Oh, is that what they say in the book?
Yeah. The book's like, yeah, they were wrong, I just wasn't dead. It's like, fuck you. Okay, I understand that Spielberg made you write a sequel because he wanted to make a sequel movie, and I understand that Malcolm lived in the movie, so they wanted Malcolm to be in the sequel, but fuck you.
But I mean, was it an off-screen death, or was it he just like he died in the hands of somebody else, or the arms of somebody else, or is it that he had an infection, fever rose, and then whatever.
He has an infection,
Yeah.
fever rises,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the book, when everybody else is getting away, they're all on the escape helicopter. He's not there. Somebody's
Sure.
like, "Where's Malcolm?" And somebody else goes, "He didn't make it." And then they bomb the island.
He didn't make it to the helicopter.
Yeah,
he got away on a
he's-
boat.
Yeah, he got away on a fucking boat. Sure.
Yeah. See,
Eat my ass, Michael Crichton. I'm glad you're dead.
maybe he isn't dead.
Oh, okay, I have a mild limp. Fuck me. But that was the bad movie I saw the last 3 weeks, and it was still okay. Like I said, even the bad reviews, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, they're like, it's all right. Nobody's like, this movie sucks. But I
He'll
saw.
probably do really well on video then.
Yeah, I hope there's a director's cut because, like I said, man, fucking Transformer movies are 3 hours long, and this shit only gets 90 minutes. It's frustrating. But I saw Monkey Fight, also known as War for the Planet of the Apes, and that was goddamn good.
I've only seen like one of that chain of movies.
And you're not thinking of the Marky Mark one by
No, Andy showed it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw the first one. I think we were planning to watch. Is it?
The first one is Rise, the second
Dawn.
one is Dawn, and the third one is War, which annoys people because people are like, you should have the Dawn and then the Rides, but fuck you.
Whatever.
But no, they're all good. It might be the most consistently good trilogy in film history.
I've heard that about that. I've heard the third one is goddamn amazing. It's a movie I definitely want to see.
Yeah.
In the theater still. So maybe I'll go see that on Tuesday instead of
No,
Idris Elba.
because that was the second best movie that I saw since the last time I was on a podcast.
Did you? What did you see?
I saw The Coldest City, which was retitled during production to Atomic Blonde.
Oh.
And Atomic Blonde
I have
was
heard good things about
goddamn
Atomic Blonde.
amazing. The one thing I will say, so anybody who says anything bad about Atomic Blonde, the thing they say that's bad is actually good. Because I think people are going into it expecting like a start-to-finish action scene. Like they're thinking it's John Wick again.
Sure.
But it's not. It's a James Bond film. It is a slow-burn espionage film where there are a few good action scenes and she fucks random women.
So it
It's
actually
straight up James Bond.
The trailers are right then when they're saying that it is the James Bond now.
It totally is.
Unlike some things like Fifth Element, the next Star Wars. Like no, that's not the
This
next Star
felt
Wars.
like James Bond. It
Okay.
really did. And it does have one
Good James Bond,
Yeah.
not like
Oh,
a
yeah.
recent James Bond.
Yeah, no, like a Casino Royale,
Okay.
Quantum of Solace. Not like a Spectre.
Not a Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace is amazing. Fuck you.
No, no.
But Quantum of Solace is amazing. Fuck you. But no, it's very, very, very good. And it also has like a 15-minute contiguous shot sequence that's really impressive.
I like those shots.
Yeah. I've seen enough of them that I could find where hidden cuts were, because I'm like, they just went through a door and it went black for a single frame. That's where they cut the scene, so whatever, but fuck that. It was like a 15-minute contiguous sequence, and there was no background music or anything. The only sound was the actual environmental noise of like grunting and stabbing and shooting and death, and it was very primal and awesome.
So kind of very similar to John Wick in that regards. John Wick, it has music, but generally it's really more of just
The realistic
action.
pain of it and stuff like that, yeah. Atomic Blonde is very, like, it's like within this long sequence, it has a They Live style fight scene where she and another guy, like, they punch each other a couple times, and then they're both like staggering and bleeding, and then like one of them like picks up a book to hit the other one and then just drops it and falls down without even hitting him, and then staggers up again and then gets stabbed and then falls back. Like, they just stagger around bleeding and trying to punch each other for like 45 seconds because they're both so weak and hurt that they can't even fight anymore. And that was like it's like They Live.
It sounds, I've heard that compared. I've heard that comparison for the They Live fight sequence in Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
Because, well, man,
Yeah.
They Live.
Somebody gets stabbed in the back, like literally, like right between the shoulder blades. He's trying to get the knife out and he can't reach it and whatever. And then he gets like hit and he falls back against a wall and the knife twists upwards 90 degrees. And Raylene said she could hear my asshole clench because of my wincing so hard. 'Cause that looked like it fucking hurt.
I haven't even seen it, but that. Ugh.
Arctic Circle said it reminds me of Sucker Punch meets Bond. Is that a fair thought? No, it's Bond meets Bond. It's straight up just a James Bond film. There's no fantasy-esque Sucker Punch sequence. There's no over-the-top, unrealistic stuff. It is very root, Bond, even beyond Bond. Like, there's no gadgets or anything. It's like the one of those like the Man on the Bridge, like one of those complete documentary spy movies meets Bond.
So it's kind of like
James Bond.
Jesus Christ. So it's kind of similar to like a Dalton Bond.
Sure, yeah.
Because Dalton Bond was more just...
Yeah. Or like I said, like Casino Royale. Like, they took all the gadgets and shit. Like, the torture scene in Casino Royale is just him getting hit in the balls with a rope, right? Yeah. There's no laser beams or anything. But, yeah. Well, yeah, it's... he's talking more about graphics and lighting and colors. And that's... You can tell it's by the people who did the director of John Wick, because it has that visual style.
Oh, it is?
Okay.
I didn't realize
it's one of the two directors. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think because the Directors Guild is so stupid, you're not allowed to credit two directors in a movie, and that's why the Cohen brothers take turns crediting each other as director or writer.
Sure.
Because it's fucking dumb. Maybe they've changed that by now, I'm not sure. But they co-directed John Wick, but only one of them was listed as director, and the other one is this movie's director.
Okay. Speaking of the Coens, I've got Jim watching
Fargo?
Fargo.
A series?
We're on season 2, and he actually couldn't make it through season 1, but season 2 is so goddamn good.
He couldn't make it through season 1? Like, he didn't like it?
I don't know. Maybe he just didn't like Billy Bob.
I've only seen a couple episodes. It's hard to watch because it is draining. Like,
yeah.
you will finish an episode and you will be empty inside.
Have you watched season 2 at all, or no?
No.
Oh, season 2 is so good. Have you seen season 2?
Parts of it, yeah.
With the Gerhardts and...
Yeah. Oh. And spoilers. My favorite thing about season 2 is that the creators of the film just go, fuck it, aliens. And it's like, sure, why not? Like, if you're going to have somebody get in a car accident because you need a car accident to happen, you could have there be ice on the road, or you could have a deer jump out in front of you, or just fuck it, aliens. It works.
It works.
It actually works. It's amazing because of how, we had to have something happen. Fuck it, aliens.
I have to disagree with Arctic Circle. He basically says that season 1 is better than 2. I think I have not seen season 3 yet. It's on my DVR waiting for me to watch it. But I enjoyed season 2 so much more than season 1.
I think the planet in generally agrees season 2 is better than season 1, but
just the character interaction for everyone there. We have Fat Damon, he's awesome. We have basically Kirsten Dunst, who's awesome in there too. Just all the characters are really, really well done. And I noticed this too. Anytime you hear music in season 2, it's from one of the other Coen Brothers films.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, so it's like you hear, it's not Kenny Rogers, what's his song from Big Lebowski? I just checked in to see what my condition.
That's not Kenny Rogers, is it?
Yeah, that's Kenny Rogers singing that in that movie.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, look that up.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You can talk while I look this up.
But that's in there. There's like a weird discotheque version of the Man of Sorrow, is it?
A Man of Constant Sorrow, yeah.
Man of Constant Sorrow. So there's like a weird discotheque version of that in there because it's from the 70s.
Oh, man. The Old Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack, so good.
That movie is really good too.
Movie is good. So that's I actually was asking people in various locations that I was, what is the best and the worst Coen Brothers movies?
I've only seen a handful in one viewing, so I got a really slanted opinion on that.
Yeah, what's your slanted opinion?
I mean, I really like the actual like Fargo movie.
Okay.
But like to sit there and say like one is noticeably superior to another, like splitting hairs. Like there are going to be some bad movies in the mix, but like if you're talking about anyone that's going to list like the favorite ones,
Yeah. You can't pick a favorite?
not really. Sorry.
Damn it, man. Put out strong. Yeah, just but it's not Kenny Rogers.
It is Kenny Rogers.
Is there a different version?
There's other versions of it too.
But he does the vision and with the thing and stuff.
In the Big Lebowski.
That sequence in the gutter baller sequence is so good.
Yeah. I didn't know it was Kenny Rogers either until I saw it credited in the film. I'm like, who? Out of all country, I'm not a fan of country generally, but I'm a fan of old style country music, which Kenny Rogers is a part of that.
Well, a lot of new country is more just pop music with the occasional acoustic guitar in it, right?
It went from rock to pop more.
Like
rock music, country is more rocky.
I don't say this as an insult to quality, just as style, but Shania Twain is nothing like Willie Nelson.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's not the same genre.
Well, a lot of like, country is one of those genres that has a fairly low entry threshold, so you get a very large batch of music grouped into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just such a broad umbrella. You just call all the shit, like, oh, do they come from south of the Mason-Dixon line, and are they wearing a hat? Well, then it's country. And it's like, yeah, but they're nothing. Nope, country.
I wanted to say what country guys I like.
Yeah, no, keep going. Sorry.
Kenny Rogers, Johnny Cash, and Jerry Reed. Those are the country stars I will actually listen to on a regular basis.
Willie Nelson. On the road again.
Not so much. I mean, he's fine. Again. He's fine, but
I found make music.
See, like I'm not fond of country music in general, but like I said, it's a broad spectrum. There's a top tier that is really good.
Oh my fuck! Somebody's trolling us in chat. Jesus fuck! Worst Coen Brothers film is Big Lebowski. I will find you. I will show you what happens when you forget a stranger in the Alps. Oh my god! A hidden gem for me. It might just be that it's a family favorite and we quoted it to each other all the time. But I love Raising Arizona.
Yeah,
that is
get hooks in me.
Oh my god, Raising Arizona, son! You got a panty on your head. Your jammies. They had Yodas and shit on them. Would you go to a store called Unpainted Huff Hines? Good old not a Big Lebowski, Raising Arizona, but Big Lebowski. Fuck you. I think their worst is I was disappointed in Hail Caesar, but I think that was my fault or the trailer's fault.
I never saw Hail Caesar, so I can't say anything to it.
I went into it thinking that it was going to focus on one plot line, and then a whole bunch of random shit that had nothing to do with the plot line happened, and it annoyed me, and it turned out the movie wasn't about that plot line. It was about a dude who was in all of the plot lines, and the movie didn't make that clear from the trailers. So I was confused and angry instead of focusing correctly.
Oh,
so I'd be curious to see it again, knowing that it's a day in the life of this guy, not what happens on this specific plot thread.
You went for a drink of Pepsi, you got Mountain Dew, and it's bad instantaneously because it wasn't what you were expecting.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's my concern, is that it was a good glass of Pepsi. I just didn't like it because it was Mountain Dew, and I wasn't expecting Mountain Dew.
Looks like they are doing co-directors now.
They might be doing co-directors now. I remember it was a big deal with Sin City. That's when it hit it really big.
Because there was multiple directors.
Because, and they couldn't co-credit people, and I think that might have actually changed it.
Well, I mean, what's the timeline on this? The movie industry's come under a lot of criticism for how they handle just about everything they do that's not the actual movie itself.
Right.
You know, the rating system, the way they accredit people, a lot of that's gotten flack.
Well, the director thing, I don't think that's an MPAA thing. I think that's specifically the Directors Guild.
I mean, I'll put it under the same umbrella. It's still part of the movie-making industry.
Sure. I mean, but they don't touch each other. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, government, but you can't blame the the ATF for something that the IRS did. I mean, I guess you can shake your fist at government in general, but
No, I understand what you're getting at.
sure. But I also understand what you're getting at. High five, the power of friendship. Nani Cooley and Nick brought up surprises that we didn't say No Country for Old Men.
I was just double checking out their list here, and that would be my bottom for them.
Yeah.
I just
I do wonder, because then would adaptations count? Like, would I have to say something purely written and directed by the Cohen Brothers, so it's a pure Cohen Brothers thing?
Probably.
But
I would say.
Or even that. I don't. No Country. I was fine with No Country. Again, it's like a Hail Caesar. You have to understand that they didn't kill off the main character 2/3 of the way through the movie. You just thought it was the main character.
Bardem is the main character.
No.
Or no, it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones is the main character.
Yeah.
You just don't know that because he's in it for 45 seconds total, and all he does is talk about his dreams and doesn't interact with the storyline at all.
I'm going to drink some coffee and read the paper. That's how my movie's going to end. That's how my movie's going to end, is I'm going to be drinking coffee and reading a paper. But otherwise, my favorite, I would probably say, man, I really like The Big Lebowski.
That's a solid choice.
I do like Burn after reading a lot.
I do too.
Because it does involve one of my favorite actors of all time, David Rash.
Sure.
And
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Well, we know not to do that again. What we did, I don't know, but we better not do it again.
I just started playing Portal 2 again. Just got up to Cave Johnson.
Fucking
yeah. That's when the game starts getting good.
Yeah.
Even at the beginning, man,
It's not bad there, but I am going to get Cave.
I'm going to attempt a manual override on this door, and then he just rams it with a fucking crate.
Yeah, Wheatley is pretty entertaining through there too. God, the writing in that. I got Chris to buy that game, or actually, I bought that game for Chris when it was sale on Steam for like $2.
Sure. And you play the co-op mode.
We're about 4
Atlas and
missions
Peabody.
in on in the co-op mode, but I'm really trying to get him to play the single player.
Sure.
And I'm trying to decide if I need to buy him the first version of Portal 1. But I don't think you really need to that
much.
Well,
the first part of Portal 2 is really close to Portal 1. Like, a lot of the puzzles are really,
even just
really
the backstory
similar.
of GLaDOS.
Yeah.
But
I don't think you really need it that much. You could probably honestly watch the ending of Portal 1 to get to Portal 2.
You can find a recap video on YouTube about like some of the secrets and conspiracies, and it will cover most of the plot and the ending. And I think that's all you really need to go to.
Flip side, Portal 1's a great game, and you can play through it in like 2 hours, even your first time through. So why not?
Yeah.
It's like the length of a movie, and it's really fucking good. So I would say just go ahead
anyway. It's length of the movie if
anyway.
you know what you're doing.
Even the first playthrough, like if you know what you're doing, it's the length of a TV episode. You can beat that game in under a half an hour if you know what you're doing.
I suppose.
And that's not even like out of boundsing like speedrun tricks. That's just like I know to do this. I beat that level.
I just keep thinking through like my trial and error spots where my hands weren't quick enough to pull off the moves the first time through, so you have to relive like a 10-minute sequence.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
The co-op part has been
that's some fun stuff too.
It was definitely some puzzle solving there. It basically was just a lot of the times it's just me and Chris going, like, I don't know what to do. Put a portal here, there, and
see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, now you got to jump and you got to catch the thing in the midair. What?
You can grief each other so well in that game too, just throwing portals around. I haven't
started yet.
A fun little thing in the single player mode is when Wheatley tries to show off that he can speak Spanish now. What he says in Spanish is, "Your translation circuit is malfunctioning. Please consult your manual." And in the other language tracks, they say that in English.
Okay, nice.
Because it's like, look, I can speak English now, and yeah.
No, I like Portal 2. All the writing, especially once you get
everything,
get Cave Johnson's. Well, not get Cave Johnson, but get to him.
Yeah, you line up on the blue line to receive the mantid thing.
Yeah,
and everyone else line up on the other line because we got to deal with the mantid thing.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I like I said, as I started playing that again, just to get back in the mood for it again, to play some Portal, and I have to convince Chris to play them.
Have you ever actually finished the campaign yourself?
Portal 2? Yeah.
Okay.
I beat the whole thing, yeah. That's where you get to meet Space.
Yes. Space! I love that he's in Skyrim.
Yes.
Free DLC.
Yeah, the fact that, In fact, I had to go look at somebody's video of him in Skyrim, and he's just like, space.
Space.
Where are we going to go?
There
We're
you
going
go.
to go space, space, space.
Hey. That's me. That's my spirit animal.
Just one fragmented personality out.
No, my one hope before I die is that civilization advances. Either civilization advances fast enough that it's cheap enough, or I get rich enough that I can afford to go to space. The one thing on my bucket list that isn't a felony is going to space.
What are the other things?
Yeah, just a lot of murder and
No.
stuff like that.
Well, it's only a felony if you get caught.
Well, it's still a felony. I didn't say that they'll send me to prison.
No, only if you get caught.
No, it's.
Is it
I'm with
really-
Nate on this one. It's absolutely a felony,
No,
even
it's-
if you don't get caught.
No.
It's like sinning in your mind.
If you're okay with committing the acts,
Well, the fact that I'm
work
okay with
out.
it doesn't change that it's a felony.
Yeah, but it's only a felony if you get caught. You don't get charged for anything for some random thing. It's like
You're only
once we catch this person, it's a felony.
No, it's still a felony if you're not caught. You just aren't convicted of a felony or tried for a felony. You're still committing a felony. Oh man, my bucket list is full of something. Oh my god! I finally settled that my killing spree will be with pickaxes. I always like the idea of a claw
Miniature?
hammer, like claw hammers.
Miniature pickaxe?
Yeah, like a one-hand mattock.
Like the climbing ones?
No, I was thinking
Yeah,
like
like a climbing.
little miniature ones, like you
No.
put in drinks.
No.
And you'd use that to kill people.
It seems like a work.
No.
No.
No, like a climbing mattock, like in the Tomb Raider games. Because I've always thought like a claw hammer is a good weapon. It's a good weight. You know, you can swing it without getting tired. One hit will kill somebody. You puncture the skull. But the claw side of it, it calls to me. You know, the head, but the claw with the puncture and the rib is good stuff. But the curve is so tight down towards the handle that you can't really hook it into people. And you solve that by using a pickaxe instead. So I think that's the route I'm going to go.
What if you
Yeah,
had
ice axes. Yeah, ice axes.
What if you had instead of
Climbing mattock.
you started forge your own metal, and you took an actual
Forgery
hammer.
is also a felony.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But you took your hammer
Forgery.
and you made that butt end. So you still have the claw on one side, and you made that butt end, and you forge it out so it's an axe.
So why wouldn't I just have an axe?
Well, you could have both. It's a claw and an axe at the same time.
I think they might make an axe hammer. Oh, you want claw on one side, axe on the other? So that's
Yeah.
just a halberd. Just with
Yeah.
a shorter handle.
Yeah,
Yeah, halberds are good too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been watching
There's
a
not
lot of
commercially as available as the ice mattocks.
correct. I've been watching a lot of Forged in Fire, and that show is amazing. For those that don't know what Forged in Fire is, it's basically they take 4 blacksmiths and they have them forge a knife
In
or
fire?
something in approximately like 4 hours. And then they eliminate one person whoever didn't make the cut. Then they have to add on.
So it's like Iron Chef for blacksmiths.
Yes, it's really cool. I love the show. I should be a blacksmith.
Sure.
Beard for it.
I used to do blacksmithing.
You did?
Yeah, when I would do Boy Scout camp, like those week-long camps, the one I went to had like a pioneer town where they had no technology past whatever year, like they lived and it was like on South Park where none of them would admit that it wasn't 1834 or whatever.
Sure.
And they had a blacksmith there, and you could go there and you'd make all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, I've seen that too. There, we'll let Jeff enjoy. This is similar to the Lincoln Town Car. My crow. Yeah, enjoy the row of micro crows in front of a micro.
I will not enjoy that.
Nope, you're enjoying it.
I mean, I'm enjoying that in the same way I enjoy circus peanuts. I'll eat one and regret it afterwards.
No.
Why would you ever eat a circus peanut? It's the worst candy.
It's candy?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I'm gonna
I
go
don't think
get-
I even have to backtrack. I cannot think of a worse
Because there's
candy than
something
circus
wrong
peanuts.
with my brain where, like, once every 3 years, you're like, I could really go for some circus peanuts.
I'm that way with
and
candy
I'll eat
corn.
one and then realize that I didn't eat them for 3 years for a reason.
I do that with candy corn, but
No.
Just
circus
about, yeah.
circus peanuts, I know not to touch. There's nothing appealing about them. They literally look like
Yeah, they're
the
pretty
styrofoam
gross.
packaging peanuts.
I like candy corn.
I like 3 candy corn
Nope.
every year.
Candy corn, I can at least respect people liking it, even if it's not my bag. If you
Sure.
like circus peanuts, you are mentally ill. It is not food. You have pica. You're like the people who eat sticks of chalk. You are eating
I do
something
eat sticks of chalk. It's called bottle caps.
or I like
bottle caps are fine.
That's chalk.
Necco wafers. I buy
That's
Necco
chalk
wafers.
too?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
chalk wrapped in wax paper because it's still old-timey depression candy. But that is better than circus fucking peanuts.
Did I give you? I could have sworn I bought a thing of chocolate Necco wafers that I gave you.
I don't
Maybe
no.
I don't know. But I found
I have a thing of
found
Necco wafers at work.
I found it at a store. They were selling some of the rainbow colored Necco wafers, and then they had chocolate Necco wafers.
Shopko has them. I just bought a roll of Necco wafers 2 days ago because I had finished the ones I had at my desk, and they had chocolate ones there. Yeah. Do circus peanuts taste like banana candy? Is that the flavor they have? Because artificial banana flavor is the worst flavor on the planet. The only banana flavored thing I like is bananas.
Guys,
That was one of my things. Like right now on Facebook, everybody has those respond, agree, or disagree, and don't explain yourself.
Oh,
yeah, there's been a lot of those.
Yeah.
Jay Larson had a
His
crazy
had like
large
2,000
one.
posts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I threw a couple Star Wars opinions on there and got some violent responses. I think Return of the Jedi is better than Empire Strikes Back. Yep.
I disagree. I will stay in the confines of the intention of the original
No.
post.
We're not on Facebook. We have a podcast. Come fight me, bro. I like the entire... And first of all, fucking disclaimer, I am talking about original version. There ain't no goddamn special editions entering this fucking conversation. Okay? So we don't have to compare Jedi Rock and Hayden Christensen Ghost. We're going, with original shit.
with the Yub Yub song.
With Yub Yub Song, with Lopty Neck, with, yes. We're going original in both cases.
I would so
I like the entirety of Jabba's palace.
I don't remember Java's Palace. That's
that's the part I remember best about that movie.
my
I like
memory is
everything on
tainted
Endor.
from the Lucas special editions.
Well, everything on Endor. I like the Ewoks. I like everything they handle. I like, they're fucking vicious little guys. They will eat you. They eat people. They play bongo drums of human skulls. They are badass little dudes.
Yeah.
Maybe they negotiated for those helmets.
And they're funny. Yes, yeah. They're funny and badass and cool looking. And I like the space battle in Jedi. Holy shit, that fight around the Death Star.
Yeah.
So good. And the music playing in it, so good. And the lightsaber duel in the Death Star, the emotional impact of Luke turning to the fucking dark side briefly to beat Vader.
He just
but then
spent a dark
returning
side
back.
point.
Yeah.
That's all he
yes.
did. He spent a dark side point in anger.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, that's West End Games' Star Wars role-playing game.
Jedi is amazing.
Which actually, the West End Games Star Wars role-playing game, you could take that role-playing game using the rules there and just compare it to the original trilogy, and you're like, oh yes, I can see when this happened. That was this rule in this book.
Yep.
But I still like Empire a little bit more.
I mean, we're comparing 100% versus 99% here. Like, I'm not saying Empire's not an amazing fucking movie, but I stopped and I thought about it and I cleared my mind of the common acceptance. And if I'm gonna watch just one of them, I like Jedi.
I will say this though, and this might be controversial.
Your camp too.
Yeah.
Like it might just be the childhood memories, but that was the one I got to see more, because it was closer to my timeline. So yeah.
Oh man, you got freaking Salacious Crumb. Salacious Crumb.
Which one was that?
He was,
oh,
he was
He's a Kowakian lizard monkey, by the way.
he is my spirit.
I learned
spirit
two things
animal.
today.
Salacious Crumb?
Yes.
You didn't know what his name was?
No.
Or what race he was.
Well, do they ever use the name in the actual movie?
No, of course not.
Right.
They use nobody's name in the movies. You just have to know
Right.
it.
There's Bib Fortuna's face.
Does Bib Fortuna look like he's having fun?
There's a sequence in there where Bib Fortuna just suddenly, for some odd reason, just goes
Yeah.
for no apparent reason. I just know one of my good friends back in high school years pointed it out to me, and I can't not see Bib Fortuna's face.
Bib Fortuna's great.
My comment.
Probably the first breast I saw as a child. It's because there's a nip slip from Ula before she gets thrown in the Rancor pit, and
Oh no, yeah.
yeah. there's actually toplessness in there, but it was so fast, and until the Blu-rays came out, nobody noticed.
I didn't know.
I will honestly say this, and it's probably going to bring up a lot of controversy.
That's fine.
I think I like the special edition version of Empire more than standard edition Empire, because I think
now the current special edition or the original, because they toned back the Empire special edition. Specifically, they took out Luke screaming as he fell in Cloud City, because when it came out in theaters for the special edition, he screamed as he fell, which took away. It made it seem like it wasn't a noble choice. It wasn't a sacrifice. So it's, I slipped. This sucks.
Yeah.
So without that scream, I don't even remember much of what they changed.
I was about to actually ask that.
It might
what
be
is
the
the
least
distinction?
changed.
the improvements to Cloud City.
Like through the windows and stuff like that.
Cloud City looks, instead of being shot in a studio, it just looks so nice.
Yeah, I
you
can
could
see that.
see Cloud City.
Well, because my first viewing of that movie, I was really young. It took me a while to click, like, Cloud City is literally a city in the clouds, as opposed to what they had named something that's a series of interconnected tubes.
Correct. It was almost, they could have just shot it on the Death Star, pretty much the entire Empire.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cloud City was a little bit different. I really honestly don't really remember much else that
I'm
was
pulling
different.
up a list to see, because I think it's the least changed plot-wise, because it doesn't have like all the changes like Episode 4 has with Han or with Greedo shooting and with Jabba showing up and all that shit.
Correct.
It doesn't have the Jedi Rock and the Coruscant and the Hayden Christensen ghost like Jedi does. So
It's more of cosmetic changes rather than interrupting changes, like having a big ass bantha walk in front of your camera when you're in Mos Eisley, like in Episode 4.
right.
This one just had really, really nicely done, I felt, cosmetic scenes. There's stormtroopers. There was more of them, which is fun.
They add a little bit more of the Wampa eating while Luke's being held in the ice.
Yes.
Okay. You actually see it eating.
But he's not like doing show tunes, you know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's the subtle stuff. Little optical change. Yeah, just small optical changes.
Yeah, I honestly really like his Lucas's special edition of that. I agree with the Luke screaming is an issue, but I'm trying to look at Cloud City again without the special effects added in. It just doesn't look right to me.
Well, because the big reason behind some of those changes were things that, besides the controversy over like Han shooting first, that routine, a lot of the things that got wedged in were things that Lucas felt like they didn't have the tech to do at the time.
Correct.
And so the Episode 4 is really introductory, so you want to introduce a world, so when you got a special effects budget, it's hard to throw 3,000 flavors of alien life in your direction. So, of course, that all got wedged into Episode 4. Move on to Episode 5, and look at the settings that movie has. So you've got Cloud City, which is much more, I'll use the word segregated, but it is very distinct from the rest of kind of the, from like the universe. It's its own little place. It's not this hive, it's not this den of scum and villainy. You know, you've got the Rebel Camp. You know, all these are isolated locations, so the special effects of introducing a more vibrant world setting aren't in place. So he didn't have enough room to make those weird changes. Versus going to Episode 6, and then you get like the Ewoks who were in there like for the kids initially. And so what can we do to sit there and fix the fan issues with it?
Fix the fan issues and also possibly continue our legacy from the first 3 that we had. So we're going to replace, random old guy with Hayden Christensen, even though which doesn't
why is he the only one who gets a young ghost?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Yoda was.
Yoda missed my hair, do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much. Like, it's got the fewest changes. There's a couple shots of like things flying around.
Yeah.
One random change is when R2 gets spat out, like when he's in the water and something eats him and then spits him out.
Yep.
In the original film, Luke says, "You're lucky you don't taste very good," and it's changed to, "You were lucky to get out of there." You're lucky you don't taste good. It's funny.
Yeah, I wish that they should change that back. That makes sense.
By the way, my other controversial Star Wars opinion in that thread was that I think the most intricate and deep and interesting character in all of the Star Wars films is Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I can see the point. It's just such an unlikable character.
Is he though?
Who likes an angsty teenager?
But he's not a teenager.
Well, he certainly acts like one.
Well, but does he? Like, that's the thing is, like, his temper tantrums aren't angst, right? He wants to be evil, but he's naturally a good person, and so he has to force himself to be angry. He has to force himself to be violent to keep that anger present, to keep the dark side strong, which means he has to break it. Sure, but for a purpose. It isn't just, yeah. It's kind of like the punching the wound in the snow to keep himself.
See, that was neat.
In pain.
That I get.
His temper tantrums are the same concept.
Right, but it turns him into an unlikable character, which makes it a lot harder to rationalize the fact that he could be a well-written character.
Yeah. There's a deleted link in our chat. No,
somebody's posted about Crippled Systems audio.
Oh, I wasn't reading because I was looking at the thing.
Yeah.
New listener. Hello, Garok2. Garok K. It's probably Garok. It's like Baroque, right?
I don't know.
Is that how you would pronounce that?
I assume.
Hello.
So, any other unpopular opinions about Star Wars?
Jeff, you got an unpopular opinion about Star Wars or anything else?
I think they're a little overblown.
Well, sure, everything's a little overblown. They're the most powerful IPA in the planet in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that, you have to be inflated a little bit.
I don't know. Like growing up, for me, it was always the two camps. It was either you're a Star Wars fan or you're a Star Trek fan. And I've always been like, they're both fun, but they're not that great. So that's my unpopular opinion.
Excuse you forgot Babylon 5, the thinking men's...
I definitely forgot about Babylon 5.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
I've only seen a little bit of Babylon 5 as well. I've seen like the first 2 seasons, and that moves slow.
The first season moves slow. Season 2 season 4 is the fastest moving anything ever.
Well, I never got that far, so I have no opinion of it.
Holy shit.
I mean, there's a lot of good sci-fi tropes. I mean, we could talk about, too. Some good entities out there. I mean, you have Battlestar Galactica that a lot of people seem to like, the new series. I did not appreciate that much.
Once they get to New Caprica, stop watching.
Yeah, there's
walk away slowly.
Most recent, The Expanse, and that's a really, really cool show.
I need to see more of that one.
Yeah, it's more of I would almost call it like a Game of Thrones of space. I'm annoyed by places that do that, where they try to compare something to something else. It's just an easy way of...
That's American marketing, though.
Yeah.
Like how many movies are put out saying like by the director or produced by the same people who did fill in the blank of anything popular they ever did, regardless of the quality of the new work.
But that's different then, because that's giving you a basis. Like this is the same person that directed that other movie that you liked, not that this movie is the other movie that you liked.
Right, yeah.
And that's what the Game of Thrones people are, I mean, not Game of Thrones, that's what the Expanse people were trying to get you to do, is like, you know that crazy popular show that's over on HBO? Well, we're just like it, but we're in space.
Hey, Legionnaires brought up Dark Matter. I was going to mention Dark Matter. Dark Matter is I think it's, like, not a lot of people are watching it, but Dark Matter is really good.
Is that Skiffy?
It might be Skiffy. It might be Siffy. But yeah, it's, that's, space. Space. But the thing is, though, those are handy shorthands, right? Like, you could say, well, it's a drama, and there's a lot of politics, and there's a lot of violence and backstabbing, betrayal, and don't get too attached to characters because they might die, but it's very interesting. It's, episodic. It's easier to say, yeah, it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right? Because it means that. That's what it means.
I guess I really like things to, in a sense, have their own identity and not be hoisted by other people's...
Yes.
Sure,
descriptions.
Sure, I understand that, but it's still handy shorthand. Like if I had, like even with board games, how often you're like, well, this game's basically kind of like Sentinels of the Multiverse, but this is what's different. Like it helps people faster understand 90% of what it's about, and then you can describe the 10%.
But the part I get concerned about isn't like the first one. Like it's like this game. It's the but. It's all that extra what makes it distinct,
sure.
Or I need a second frame of reference, or it feels like they're just trying to piggyback on something's popularity.
I get that.
And my biggest complaint of that type of piggybacking type thing is, which the movies are not even remotely alike, other than there's trench coats involved, is when they were marketing Equilibrium, be like, it's the next Matrix.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not even... It falls into that same category as Fifth Element is the next Star Wars.
It's dystopian future, and then...
It's sometimes a useful shorthand, but the problem is when it's either not like it but different and here's how, but it's a blatant ripoff, so it's like it because it's just trying to be it.
Sure.
Or the opposite, like you said, where it's not like it at all and you're lying to me when you say it's like it.
Correct, because you have people that really like The Matrix going in to watch Equilibrium going, what the fuck? There's a guy crying about a dog? What?
It's like the guy who sued because they went and saw Drive and he thought it was going to be like... The trailers made it look like a Fast and the Furious movie.
No.
Like, no, it's not. From the producers thing, I'm laughing currently because a lot of horror movies are coming out and they're like, from the producers of Get Out and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, that's just because it's from Blumhouse. And they've released every horror film in America in the last, decade. So they get to just say that even if the movies are nothing alike.
Well, right, and it doesn't make the statement any less true. It doesn't lend any credence to the
true,
movie.
But it tells me nothing about the style of the movie because it's not the writer or the director of it. It's just people who threw money at it.
Because if you follow this train, like Fifth Element, Lucy, Valerian.
Yeah.
One of those three is not like the others. Fifth Element is good.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant that Lucy isn't a space action film.
Oh, I mean...
Are you sure it's a space action film?
It could be.
Space is on... This is a recurring theme throughout this episode. Is just a lot of space.
Space.
Because space is on the thumb drive.
I want Leon the Professional in space.
just him frozen in space, just slowly floating.
Just him, just floating. Yeah.
Shot-for-shot remake, just put in space settings.
That's what I meant, but yours also works. And he's just got, My Favorite Martian antenna. Nothing else is different. How much space do you think was on the thumb drive? Like a terabyte?
It's gotta be big.
It's got all human knowledge.
All the knowledge of mankind. And then she touched a dinosaur.
No, she touched a monkey.
Touched a monkey.
She touched Lucy. She touched Lucy, the title character.
Yeah, she almost got eaten by a dinosaur. I forgot. And then there were somehow Indians in the U.S.
The Indians was fine. Yeah, they had horses. Was the fuck up.
Yeah.
Prior to it. Oh my god, the movie could have been so good. God damn it.
Two ways. I should use my editing tools. I should really use my editing tools.
It's like the specialized edition of Star Wars. You could do that. Just cut out Samuel L. Jackson from the movie entirely.
I keep him in.
I think you just need a better ending.
And change the ending.
No, I would have a stinger trailer.
Bullshit. All that. Sure,
I would have the stinger at the end of her just lying in the corner, going
just foaming at the
mouth.
But cut out any brain percentage references, which means you eliminate him entirely.
Pretty much, you would have.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not Samuel. It's Wesley Snipes. But anyway, cut out all the brain percentage stuff.
You mean Samuel L. Jackson?
No, it's Wesley. I said that at first, but that was wrong of me. It's actually Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. Okay.
But anyway, so you cut out all of that brain percentage, and then you just change the ending, and then you have a good movie. Because I loved everything else about that movie.
Yeah.
I like when she's fighting the guys in the hallway. She makes a couple of them float away gently, and then one guy she slams through 7 walls. It's what did that guy do? Why fuck that guy in particular?
Yeah, everyone is just like, whoa.
Oh, fuck you.
Well, because of all of her brain power, she knew that guy had done something particularly terrible, right? No?
God, it's so dumb.
Mm-hmm. Well, no worse than the ending when she's sitting in the room downloading herself and all of her friends are in the hallway getting murdered.
Yeah.
When she can clearly just stop the opponent.
Stop the murder and then go download yourself later.
Yeah.
But hold on, stop the download, pause it, stop murder. Okay, I'm back. Let's do this thing. It doesn't have to be a race. You can just do that.
You can't just pause the download because she disconnects.
Maybe she should have started it and taken the 10 seconds she needed.
Yeah,
she would have to restart the whole fucking download again.
Oh man.
And
you think while she was downloading, people were being shot? If it was taking a long time, they did the thing where you put your thumb up next to the download to make sure that it actually moves further when you can't tell if the download's still going?
That's true, too. Or maybe she was using a 28.8 modem.
Yeah.
Like, just take it forever. She was just downloading one picture of herself. She was downloading her nudes.
Then she's doing that, and she's doing the pretentious stuff, and it cuts back to them, and they're just watching the screen load. It's just, faster. People are just being murdered. We gotta see her tits in time.
Welcome to 1996. We're looking at porn on the internet. Oh.
And they always loaded top down. I don't care about her hair, goddammit.
Yeah.
And it would load through blurry, and it would load through the second time cleaning it up.
Those were
Like,
JPEGs.
is that enough shoulder? Damn it.
Oh, Lord almighty.
We just lost all the people born
She
after
absolutely should
2000.
have making those modem noises as she was doing it, though.
Yeah, I could.
And then her grandma picks up the phone to call somebody that disconnects her.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was downloading the Son of Human Knowledge, Grandma. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so the flash drive, somebody mentioned in the chat, flash drive is just actually all the porn on Earth from all time. I don't think that's possible. I
No
don't
flash
think you
drive
could
can
fit
hold
that
that.
on
Yeah.
a single Lucy flash drive.
She'd have had to be turned into an external hard drive.
It would have been
server.
a server, just
Yeah.
the complete server with.
So much porn.
There's a lot. I suppose we should probably go jump into Zappity Grumbles, or unless you guys got something else.
No. God, fucking A, Lucy could have been good.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Luke
Certainly
Besson.
could've been.
And the worst thing about the if it was just her brain is unlocking and it gives her magic powers, I would have been angry, but I could have dealt with it. It's a stupid gimmick, and I hate that myth, but I could have dealt with it.
Well, right, they didn't need to science it.
And more specifically, the worst thing about the sciencing is that you have what's the guy from Man on Fire?
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, so you have Denzel Washington giving his speech.
No, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. I think you're thinking of James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. So, you're right. I'm sorry. So you have James Earl Jones giving his speech, and he's like, at 25% human capacity, in theory.
Wait. I think you're wrong. It's Wayne Brady.
You have Wayne Brady giving a speech, and he's like, "Don't say Bill Cosby." Because that she ODs on drugs, we'd have to tie it in, it'd get real bad. Anyway, so Wayne Brady's giving his speech, and he's like, at 25% human brain capacity, they would unlock telekinesis. And sure enough, at exactly 25%, she unlocks fucking telekinesis. Why was he right? And he's like, at 50%, they'd be able to teleport, and sure fucking enough, like every single percentage point he was right about. How? Even ignoring that we use 100% of our fucking brains all the time. Like, not all the time. Like, you don't use 100% of your living room all the time, but you use all of it eventually, right? Like, the brain's the same goddamn way.
There are a couple of corners I
There's
haven't
some corners.
stood in.
Sure, and there's some corners of your brain you don't use, like the algebra corner.
There's a lot of cobwebs up there, I'll grant you.
But how would he be right? That TK and this and that and the other are all at exact percentages that,
You see,
Arctic Circle ruined the joke by actually pointing out the correct actor, which was Forrest Whitaker.
But then they really did a lot of good makeup on him then to get rid of that lazy eye.
No, you're thinking of Idris Elba.
Good Lord. And that's how we got racist.
No, we were mocking racist people.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's my cover story.
And there's no beep boops in there either because there was no Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow.
Yeah.
Beep boop.
Police Academy.
Beep boop.
Jesus Christ. All right, so we're going to jump over to Zappity Grumbles. I had a couple in there. Somebody had mentioned Benoit Van Lee.
What?
Benoit Van Lee is his name.
Okay.
Just came back from
you said somebody just mentioned Benoit Van Lee. I'm like, well, okay. I'm glad they mentioned him.
I just came back from a trip to Budapest, which is pretty cool. I recommend if you're going to have time, money, that you should go. What are some of the locations that you guys would like to visit?
I want to go. I haven't gone to England yet. Like any of the UK, Ireland, Scotland, England. Because I've done a lot of Europe. And I'm not huge huge into. I think that would be my next goal. Would be like the UK area.
I would agree with you.
Because I want to go someplace I speak the native language. Like, yeah, I'd like to go to, like, Asia, go see India or China or South Korea or Japan or any of those, but I would be Bakagaijin. And
the dollar is doing pretty well over in England.
yeah, because Brexit fucked their economy right up the pooper.
So,
I mean, I've always been curious about Japan, but I think I was going to be practical about it. I'd want to go to Europe. Like, Japan would have some serious obstacles, like money, language, but I'm really curious about it.
Mm-hmm. What's the actual phrasing of his question?
Oh.
After I've been to Budapest, where's a place,
what are some of the locations that you guys would like to visit?
Oh, well, he didn't specify on Earth. Space. I will go back to the fact that I want to orbit space. I want to see all this shit. I want to see the sunrise. Just space.
How can you see the sunrise when you're actually, like, in space? Because wouldn't it just be there?
Not if you're behind. Not if you're on the other side
You
of
want to
Earth.
follow the planet and
Well,
You want to see the
as you orbit around Earth, you go behind it, and so instead of the spin,
well, it's a very specific segment of space there. Well, I mean, in a big radius around the sun, but yeah.
when you're in orbit,
I would want to
really
be in
not that
orbit
far.
around Earth.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like randomly in Alpha Centauri just floating. I would like to be in a spaceship.
You don't want to be up there with Leon.
Yeah, I want to be in a space. Me and Leon and Jubal Early just floating through space.
Oh,
I would like to be in orbit around Earth.
here I am.
Well, yep.
But yeah, fair enough.
Japan would be another good choice too, but I mean, at least just about every country out there, other than the United States, is going to have English-speaking people.
Oh, sure. And a lot of the non-English speaking, like if you go to like places like Germany and whatnot, they all speak English.
Yeah, it's usually taught as a second language in most places.
And
here
I
it's
get that.
here it's just like a random thing. They're like, oh, you know how to say library in Spanish. Good job.
Well, to be fair though,
I learned that from Adam Sandler.
if you don't count the Quebecois, sorry, if you don't count the French Canadians, and nobody counts the French Canadians, then Canada and America speak English, and Canada and America combined are like way fucking bigger than all of Europe. So a German needs to learn Italian because he's 100 feet away from Italy.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, or France rather. There's stuff between Germany and Italy. I meant to say France and French. The point is they're so close. It's practical.
Sure.
That's why
Right.
people like in Texas and stuff are far more likely to speak Spanish because they fucking need to.
Correct. Yeah.
If Illinois had a different language than Wisconsin, I would have learned Illinoisian in school.
I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have either.
I'm
Fuck
not gonna
Illinois,
learn
but I might have learned
anything from a
Iowan.
fib.
I might have learned Iowan, but I would not have learned Illinoisian.
Yeah, I would have learned
Minnesota,
Iowa.
you know.
Sure.
Hey.
Yeah.
I would have
Pretty.
learned Iowan just to spite Illinoisan.
That's practical. It's like the same reason why we use cars so much more. We fucking have to. America's huge.
Well, yeah. Our population centers are very spread out as compared to Europe, where you know
Well, I mean,
you could take
raw landmass.
Yeah, I mean, like you're traveling from Germany to France, it's a 5-hour trip. For here, traveling from
Well, if you're a business person in Japan, you get on the train and go to work or whatever. But like here, like I live in Aurora and I work in Chicago. I could get on the Amtrak for 2 hours, or I could drive for a half hour. Like you need cars. You fucking need cars. And even though all your corn comes from Iowa and you got to get the corn places, you use semis.
correct.
We're just too fucking big.
Yep. Zappity.
You didn't say where you. Oh yeah, you did. You said Japan.
Europe would, or not Europe. More specifically, the UK. I think I would like more of Scotland.
Let's
that
all
type
go.
of area. To the
Like
next,
right now.
No, not now.
Oh,
We
okay.
just start walking.
We
That's how it
could.
works, right?
No, you go through Iceland. Flights in and out of Iceland are insanely cheap, and so that's a good place to connect through to get to Europe.
Do you know what the capital city of Iceland is?
Reykjavik. Oh, that's less funny.
Oh, yeah, Iceland is right. Yeah, Reykjavik. Yeah, come on.
Michaelvik?
No,
From Lucy?
you're not even getting my joke. It's not even a joke, but it's a comment that Craig Ferguson always made.
That Reykjavik is the capital of Iceland.
Yes.
Fair.
He needs to come back to TV again. We need him.
Yep. Is his game show gone?
No,
So he's still on TV then.
but I don't.
You need a
watch
talk
it.
show.
I need a
Yeah.
talk show. He had a talk show on History Channel.
Yep.
For a little bit. That was very similar to his regular show, but it was kind of really driven by the show.
Yeah,
instead
it
of
was
just
only
letting him
similar
talk.
in as much as he was him.
Yes, yeah. In fact, I think they even brought in the whole Paul McCartney and Angela Lansbury thing into that show as well.
Oh man, one of the posters on the Something Awful forums has that picture of Angela Lansbury as their icon, and the text under it is, "Can we get a picture of Paul McCartney?" So I'm always happy when that person posts.
Okay, so somebody else asks here is, if you don't mind asking, where do I go for the live stream Twitch? I want something to do while I make 8 tables worth of terrain. Oh,
Twitch.tv/Crippled System.
Yep, 2 hours ago I should have responded. I should mention that we don't actually read the Zappity Grumbles until we're actually on Zappity Grumbles, so I should have maybe read it beforehand.
Yeah, but then it's not off the cuff. I blame that person for not just messaging us, where's your Twitch stream, or just trying, Crippled System Twitch on the Googles.
Yeah, and I usually have it in the post, and I did not have it in the post this time around.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was my bad. Sorry.
My bad.
I'll respond to you now.
Zappity
Grumble. Do you guys have any recommendations?
We're not going to do the other.
There was a couple in
a
here.
couple in chat. Has Brian bought out the last of Shadow and Brimstone Kickstarter expansions? Probably.
Yeah, we faced a couple new things. We've tested out some of the new characters. So I've been playing the Darkstone Shaman. Brian's been playing the Wandering Samurai. Jordan tried playing the Doc. We have a very dysfunctional team. It's not very good. We have like one ranged person, and then everyone else is melee.
It's fine. Just run on in.
Difficult to do when some things cannot be hurt by melee. And then also we had
Just hit him harder.
yeah. Who is it? I think Jordan's the Doc. Jason is the Dragano native. And then I don't remember what Jim's character is. Oh, the Gambler. And we're not very good as a team.
Well,
We've already had multiple deaths.
Oh, maybe don't be that team.
No.
Oh, that works too.
It's part of the challenge.
Yeah. So we had a couple.
Scroll all the way up. All the way. Yeah. Boom. Nope. Yeah. What's the worst Kickstarter ad video that you have seen? His is a guy plugging his product while on the toilet. Was the product a toilet?
Well, that would be interesting. I don't watch the videos that much. It's really the only time I really watch the video is. No, I really don't watch the videos. Most of the time I read what they're talking about, and I want to see pictures of the product. Because a lot of times the product that they have in the video is just cardboard chits. Nothing that's actually of that game at the time. They're running with like a demo copy or something like that, and they're just telling me what the game is. I'd rather kind of learn
Gameplay and stuff like that.
Just basically learn on my own what the Kickstarter is about by what they describe in there, rather than have them hype it to me.
I don't have my own answer. Instead, I will mention that there's a YouTube person named, I don't know what his real name is, but the channel is iDubbbz TV, spelled IDUBBBZ TV.
So,
I know, he's obnoxious, but one of his sub-channels is Kickstarter crap, and all he does is find shit that's terrible on Kickstarter and mock it for 15 minutes. And so there's a lot of things on there. Like one of the ones I saw was people fundraising to do a live-action Pokemon movie, and he's like, you don't own the rights, so you can't do that.
Yeah.
Also, there's shit like some of the stuff they were raising money for was like they wanted 10 camcorders so that every member of the cast could have their own camcorder so that they could just film behind the scenes footage. It's like nobody gives a shit about you, so why would they want behind the scenes footage? You just want 10 camcorders. And like their Kickstarter rewards, like the $100 like level had about $98 worth of merchandise, because it was like a t-shirt and a hat and an actual copy of a DS, like one of the new current Pokemon games. And he's like, you're not getting bulk discount from Nintendo for that shit, so you're just paying money. You're going to spend $98 to get this stuff, and then you're going to have to mail it to somebody who will give you $100. Where are you getting your money for your 8 camcorders?
There is $2 left for them to make a movie with.
If you shipped it for free.
Yeah.
They're going to drive it around.
Wow.
But yeah, so this guy, I mean, if you met him in real life, you would want to punch him in the face until his face didn't exist anymore. He's really annoying, but he's right, and these people are terrible, and so they're worth seeing.
Zappity.
I don't know if you had a specific one you would
I don't really do
obscure
Kickstarter,
Zappity.
so I only see the ones that have really impressive Kickstarter videos, so like the worst I've seen is still impressive to watch.
My Kickstarter experience is somebody sends me a link for a board game, and I go and spend money and then regret it. Like, I don't seek out shit on Kickstarter. I just get links on Facebook.
I generally don't seek out most things. I've bought like some stuff for Sentinels of the Multiverse, and then usually whatever projects are attached to those other creators are usually the ones that I end up following. I stopped following all the ones that were doing all the ones by the folks that did Resistance and Coop. Yeah. They started going.
That's right, Jeff. I went there.
Yeah. They just started spamming me with messages for all their
You're so angry.
games.
Anger's not the right word. Might be disappointed.
Well, yeah. Disapangry. Anger pointed.
That's where I was going to go. I like
anger pointed. Okay.
Anger pointed.
All right, Zappity.
Grumble.
What would you rate your local area on excitement of War Machine Hordes for now that Lock and Load, that the high of Lock and Load has begun to fade, or has 40K distracted people? I would honestly say for at least in... That's not indicative of the...
No, that was not my answer. I was yawning to 40K. We haven't lost many people to 40K, if anybody. Like, we have people who are juggling it now. Like, people have picked it up, but nobody's...
Outside of Madison? I would say the folks that are up in Baraboo, there's a lot more 40K presence there.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I know, like, Kerr and stuff like that's juggling it, right? Like, he's doing Age of Sigmar and 40K, but he's still playing War Machine. Like, he hasn't left the game for it. He's just... He's Polly.
He has, as I quote, hate fucking Grimkin.
Okay.
He hates them so much,
They're good, though.
but he loves playing them.
Yeah.
He hates all the models. But at least in the Madison area, a lot of the old mainstays have left. A lot of the old mainstays have kind of sold their armies. Nathan's different reasons from that, from my understanding. It's
But we got a lot of new blood. Like, there's still a lot of people
playing in our area, and I would say it's pretty exciting. I mean, I was able to go down last week or the week before and set up a mics, and I was able to get 4 people easily to podcast about it, talk positively about the game. I just started playing my Kador again. It's been, I would say it's been pretty good. We were doing well before Lock and Load, and I think Lock and Load helped feel like it had a little shot in the arm.
Well, because a lot of the concern, like, now things are questions and frustrations have explanations now, you know, and, like, knowing that by the end of the year, every model will be playable in a theme force.
Yeah.
Them admitting, okay, you know what, yes, we want you to always play in theme forces, and that's why theme forces are good. And if you choose not to, that's your prerogative, but the game is balanced around theme forces.
Yep.
And we all knew that shit. But it's nice for them to admit it. It's nice for them to go. And as part of that, also say, here's a shitload more theme forces for people like Scorn who don't have one. Every model is going to be in a theme force by the end of the year. Like, this is good stuff to know, and it answers a lot of the frustrations people have had. Also, the people who were vocal, and this isn't local, this is more of an online thing, but I think in general, excitement for the game has gone up also because the people who were whiny bitches have finally gone away and finished shutting up. Like, nobody can just stop playing. They have to bitch and moan on Facebook and shit down your throat for not stopping playing, and it's nice when they stop doing that.
Yes. It makes going online so much nicer.
It's kind of like when Guild Ball first came out, and for some reason it was very common for the people leaving for Guild Ball to be very vocal about hating War Machine. and it was very frustrating. And then the people who did Guild Ball actually stamped down on that. They told all the reps, like, don't even mention War Machine because we're getting a bad name. But it was like that again.
Mm-hmm. It
definitely was.
This is my Facebook post about leaving Facebook.
Yeah, it's like, shut up, just go away. But it's not even just, here's my Facebook post that we're leaving it. And all you people who still post on Facebook are stupid and dumb and wrong and you're idiots. Because that's what you get with the people leaving War Machine, right? They can't just go, you know what, I'm just going to move on. You know, like, and even when they do, other people do it for them. Like, Tom Guan's like, hey, I'm going to move on, I'm going to play Magic now. And everyone's like, oh, because War Machine sucks. Hey, guys, War Machine sucks. Tom Guan's leaving. Shut the fuck up. Maybe he just wants to make thousands of dollars playing Magic because he's good at it, and when you're good at Magic, you make thousands of dollars instead of playing War Machine and getting a trophy every once in a while.
A trophy with absolutely no money. I mean,
Right.
there's, yeah. I mean, eventually it's
You
something.
can get a plaque or a house payment. And I know which of those I'd rather get.
I like plaques.
Sure, yeah. You enjoy building a house out of plaques.
That
That would actually be pretty
work
cool.
out very well.
It could, depending on the plaques.
Yeah.
It'd be very warm in the summer with all that metal.
But yeah, you don't make money doing War Machine. That's or really, honestly, any miniatures game out there is pretty much there's no money in there.
Yeah, it's a hobby, not a profession.
Correct.
Nobody's a professional War Machine player. Like, and even if we had, like, tournaments, the payouts, you can buy an X amount of Magic cards and win a tournament that pays for that plus a lot.
Yeah.
The amount of money you have to spend, even if you bought a specific list, like you don't buy a whole faction, but even if you just bought a specific list, you still have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and the tournament's not going to pay out something with a comma. It just isn't.
It's going to give you gift certificates for more shit that you're going to put in your army that you'll have to buy more shit to make that new shit work.
Yeah.
I said shit a lot. Yeah, it's I mean, I see folks playing 40K. It's just not really that prevalent in our group.
Well, it's
The
hard for
folks
us to see where the 40K would really take off because there's a Games Workshop store in the area now too. So there's a lot of that gets out of sight, so to speak. At least from where I'm used to playing.
Yeah, I can't think of many folks from our general gaming area that, I mean, if they've just not been around. But I mean, haven't had people go like, I'm done with War Machine now. I'm playing 40K. Nobody has actually vocally announced that in our group. It's either we just haven't seen him. And
Well, Brian's done that, but for board games.
correct. I mean, we might be able to get Brian back as doing like a limited faction, like if he gets into
He
the
might, yeah, if he...
Golden Crucible of some sort. But yeah, I really haven't seen that much. I'm sorry if I keep on re-mentioning it.
I did back the Deception expansion. Somebody mentioned that, so I'm excited about that.
Deception is
The Murder in Hong Kong game.
I don't think I played it.
You have, with the killer and we had this fucking conversation last time, and you realized halfway through it that you played it, so fuck you.
That's the one with the clues on the table, right?
Yes.
It's not the one where you're all naming like words that are similar to each other of the cards and the patterns.
What?
Zappity.
I'm going to go to Grumble.
Yeah, you do that. Here, you know what? Here's my revenge.
Well, that's not helping me. It's not hurting me at all.
It's hurting your soul.
Kind of it is, but it is kind of a neat noise. I'm kind of curious how that goes down. Stop it.
So you can see the spiking on the
Yes.
thing.
So speaking of the Oddcast, Legionnaires had mentioned the Oddcast is why you asked the question before, because we've mixed up co-hosts. Is Oddcast? I'm trying to start up something just local, having like an hour-long podcast at the game store with just the folks that are down there playing.
Just random people.
Yep. And eventually, who knows, we might be able to get them on the regular cast, but I want to try to keep the regular cast with the regular crew.
Those people all sucked.
The folks that are on the Oddcast?
Yeah, you don't want them.
We want Jake on our cast.
Yeah.
Because Jake is the new Jeremy, and we want a new Jeremy.
You,
Well, Jake is an adorable Jeremy, though.
he's the anti-Jeremy.
How is he the anti-Jeremy?
Because Jeremy's nothing but ego, so we have to abuse him to keep the ego in check. Jake has no ego.
Sure.
He is just... He's... In the Rick and Morty episode where they go to marriage counseling, he's the Jerry slug.
I would also say that
And Jeremy is the Jerry's wearing Jerry T-shirts, patting each other on the back.
yes, that yeah. No, I was going to say they're
Yeah.
both Jerry. They're just different forms of Jerry.
Sure.
Both seem to enjoy it being verbally abused by friends.
Yeah, I guess so. Jake just likes the attention.
That's probably true too.
He's like, oh, you punched me. That's like petting.
But
High impact petting.
Yeah. Full contact petting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much why we're doing the Oddcast. We want to have something different, and that's why we're calling it the Oddcast, because it's not the same cast. It's an odd cast.
Sure.
It's not a play on the words of podcast, but I do like the name a lot.
That was just a typo. Some part of the P just got dropped on.
Well, it's a good thing somebody picked that name then if Andy likes it.
What?
What are the odds?
I picked it.
Oh!
Next week, the girls will be here for the Lost Aspect podcast, and then we're going to be podcasting afterwards. Hopefully, I won't have to struggle to get more people on the podcast this time.
When are the Shays back from Europe?
I don't know when they get back from Austria.
They went to fucking Rome, morons.
Really?
Don't go to Rome. That place is a shithole.
Like, literally.
Like, literally a shithole.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know when they're going to
Worst
get back.
place I've ever been.
Really?
Worst place I've ever been in my life.
So,
he's
I'm
been-
curious what like actually drawn this. You know,
He's
like,
been to Detroit.
I have been to Detroit.
Yeah.
I lived in North 38th Street, downtown Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Rome is a shithole.
wow.
Fucking terrible. Do not ever go to Rome.
That's what happens when you live in a toilet.
Terrible.
Not everybody lives.
I'm like, oh yeah, well they have like Trevi Fountain, yeah, and it's surrounded by cats and feces and people trying to sell you goddamn pens and pick your pocket. It's garbage. You know, like how 80s New York was, and how movies made 80s New York even worse. Rome is to movie New York what actual New York was, what movie New York was to current New York even. Like, it is fucking terrible.
So now I want to see some like terrible like dystopian future Rome movies though. I want to see a Warriors Rome.
You know what? Just go to Rome. There's your terrible dystopian future of Rome, because it can't get worse than that. When we were there, we took the subway, and they just shove you in there, and half of you die of asphyxiation because it's so crowded, and the other half die of asphyxiation because of all the feces and cat hair in the air. But then the quarter of you that aren't dead, then a girl comes on with a Casio keyboard, and she smacks it randomly, and then she walks around demanding money, and you have to give her money because a 7-foot-tall, 5-foot-wide behemoth is behind her, and if you don't pay her, he will kill you.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah. And then you get off the subway, you go on the street, and somebody says, here, hold this rose, and you grab them, they're like, now you have to pay me $20 for the rose, or else I will kill you. Because it's nothing but con artists and stray cats ruining everything. Wow. Don't go there. Ever. Just look at a fucking picture of the Colosseum. At least nobody will pick your pocket.
That's not your recommendation, but partially recommendation.
Not going to Rome might be. Fuck, I hated it.
Yeah, Jim said he wasn't too happy about France when he went there either. But I have to bring him on to talk about that sometime.
Ugh. Just go to Germany. So nice. It's clean. They're friendly. Because they're overcompensating. So they're really friendly. It's like, you know, when, like, if you accidentally, like, step on your dog's foot and it yelps, then you have to be like, no. And you have to be really nice to the dog so it knows that you didn't mean to hurt it. That's how Germany is because of that thing that happened.
That follows. I mean...
Yes. We were invited. There was tea. I was just the Family Guy.
Yeah.
When he was sitting there, they were questioning the brochure. Well, like this brochure, it has these dates missing from 1936 to 1943.
What's funny is the flip side. I went into the used bookstore down on State Street, and they have all these, like, the section in the back with books about specific countries. And you would think that Germany is this tiny little country that only existed from the early 30s to the early 40s, because there is nothing before or after Hitler in their Germany section, because that's all anybody writes about. Nobody cares about before that or after that. Just write about Hitler.
All right. So what? We should jump to recommendations. Holy shit, we've been running on about 2 hours here.
Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde.
Go see it while it's in theaters. It's really good.
I finally beat Doom. It is really good. I'm trying to work my way through BioShock. I'm not sure if I like it yet.
Surprised it's slower paced than Doom.
It is definitely slower paced than Doom. Holy cow. Yeah, switching, it's almost to the point of like playing Grand Theft Auto 4 after playing Assassin's Creed. It's like, I have precision jumping, I can cling onto things and that, and like, oh, I can't make it over this railing, and I fell over.
And died.
Yeah. Oh. But I hear a lot of good things about BioShock, so I'm going to try to make
they're
my
really
way
good.
through it. So.
Okay, well, you haven't even fought a Big Daddy yet. Like, you're still in the tutorial, basically.
Oh, there's so many bad guys. And they talk, and I hate when they talk because I can hear them.
I like them to be empty, human-shaped husks that don't actually,
Them talking's great because they, like, argue with each other, and you can hear them down the hallway talking about shit.
No,
That's atmospheric.
because they turn, they scream, and they charge me with their blades or whatever.
They use your magic powers and make them dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
fucking lights go out for no goddamn apparent reason.
When you're in the morgue... Right?
Yeah, when you see the guy
You go in
working on the
back-
body, then going through the water, the light goes out, and I'm like, nope, I'm
Nope.
going to lightning hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that place.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Yeah, I might stop it. If there's more jump scares in that game, I might stop it.
The jump scares are very front-loaded. That's one of the worst ones. There's also, like, one in a dentist's office that actually is, like, right about where you are, so it's probably going to happen soon. And there's a part later where, like, you go in a big room and there's lots of statues, and you're not really sure how many of the statues are actually statues. And then, like, you go and you come back and there's more statues.
No.
And you're like, no, wait a second. There weren't this many statues before. But
Can you destroy the statues?
you sure can.
Okay,
and
good.
you're like, smash, thud. Oh, that's a dude. So, spoiler. Like, you might have not bothered destroying statues if I had to mention it. Now, if you're in a room with statues, just start shooting them. Some of them will bleed.
You don't like that atmosphere? Like that's
No, I really hate jump scare games. It's the worst.
You'll like Infinite better. There's not as many jump scares in it.
Okay.
They are unrelated. BioShock Infinite is not BioShock 3. It's
Correct,
BioShock
yeah.
1,
I know that.
2, and then an unrelated thing that just has the BioShock name because a
And
lot of the
then-
gameplay is the same, but
and
the
then
story
there's-
is unrelated.
There's there's an undersea expansion for BioShock.
Well, it's
that
connected
is-
in the same universe, but I mean, you could link that in the same way that like Cloverfield Lane's in the same vein that Cloverfield was.
Sure.
Like same world, but you don't need one for the other.
You don't know they're the same world.
Okay, fine. The same universe. However you want to label it.
You know
I
what
don't
it's
care.
more like? It's more like, because it may or may not be same universe, but it's definitely same title. It's more like if they had a spin-off of Fury Road, where Furiosa drives and discovers the abandoned remnants of Bartertown.
Okay.
And there's no anti-enmity, none of them are there. So it's just the Fury Road characters,
that's what
but
the
they
under-
go to Bartertown.
That's what the undersea expansion is.
It's literally, it's infinite,
Yeah.
but you go to Rapture.
Okay.
The plot isn't connected, you just are in Rapture.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. The ending to Infinite is a lot of fun.
Fuck you.
Well, you don't like that ending?
I was infuriated by it.
Oh.
It doesn't change
it
my
was-
opinion
it was
of knowing that
interesting.
Nathan is infuriated
Yeah,
by it.
it's a very bold and interesting ending. I was pissed.
Gotcha. I thought it was kind of neat because like the entire time,
Yeah,
it'll be
yep,
spoiler talk,
yep,
so I'll leave it
we'll
alone.
stop. It raised some questions for me, and even with the reveal, even with the reveal, choices that are made for the ending annoyed me. Okay. Anyway, Andy hasn't played it yet, so
Get to that point so we can discuss it.
Sure. It did take me almost a year to get through Doom. That was about 6 months. I got through it fairly quick, though. But, man, I've maximized... what I would like to do for like a Thursday night gameplay or something like that, I'd like to get a group of people... I'd have to get a camera for my PS4 of us trying to see how far we can get before you die, do an Ultra Nightmare.
Okay.
in Doom.
Sure.
I watched a video of some folks doing it. It was fairly entertaining. It's ultra nightmare.
You die.
Yes.
Yeah, you actually always got a good point. Play less WoW. Play more Bioshock.
I have. Well, no.
Fair enough. Good counterpoint.
I have been running out of things to do in WoW, so
Yay!
and that's why I've been playing some Bioshock and finished Doom. So, any recommendations, Jeff?
I recommend waiting until Valerian's in the cheap seats. It's a very, very pretty movie, and unless you've got a very good like home entertainment setting, it like a home theater is not going to do it justice.
So you need to see it in the theater, but you don't want to pay $15 for it.
Yes, that. Very much that.
I'm not sure if I'm going to even see it in the theater. From what I've heard about it, the main two characters have absolutely no chemistry.
Absolutely not.
For somebody who they work together as a team for a long time, or I assume, or is it like a new partner?
It's hard to tell because like you can tell they tried to age down the lead actors. They wanted to make them seem young, but the way they speak to each other, like the history and their skill set, does not make them seem like young people. So I couldn't quite put that together. Like I said, it's a very pretty movie, but there are massive plot holes. There's no chemistry. There's
Surprise evil guy.
I mean, yeah. Well, not really.
No, what? Come on. The guy all in gold with the black S&M sidekick monster friends, he's definitely not going to be evil.
Right. Oh, I forgot about that. I had to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
No, it's like I said, it's very pretty. It's very neat. It would have done better as like a TV miniseries. There's just too many ideas lumped into a 2-hour movie, and
so it's Jupiter Ascending all over again?
I haven't seen Jupiter Ascending.
Don't.
Oh, okay. So then I'll take your word. It's like Jupiter Ascending, but yeah, there's just a lot of independently neat ideas, and the whole movie feels very episodic. So you end up with a bunch of mishmash, and that's not very good.
Sometimes I wonder if movies were just better off being made into a mini series of some sort, so that way you could really get away with that. Like I hear, The Dark Tower should be pretty much a mini series. Would have been much better than.
Like the big obstacle with Valerians would probably have been the budget. There's a lot of neat things that they tried to scale it to a miniseries. You would have had to cut down on either like the CGI or they had to do more with costuming or something like that. And there's just so many vastly distinct ideas that they couldn't recycle the same assets as easily.
Sure.
So that would be the big obstacle. But I think it would have been better that way. Also, it would have helped if the script didn't feel like it was written by a 14-year-old. But very pretty. Neat stuff.
Cool. For a 3-person cast, I did not expect us to go to over 2 hours.
I wouldn't shut up.
But we are over 2 hours. You guys got the explosive version of Nathan on the podcast.
No, seriously, Rome fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Raw. Do not go there.
Let's check off my agenda. It was there. It was going to happen next Saturday.
Yeah, no,
go to
take
Rome.
that off.
Yeah, you might as well just non-refundable tickets. Just throw them out. You don't need them. All right. Well, thanks, folks, for watching. Thanks to all our Patreons and all our supporters. We'll catch you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.